Represento las calles de mi tierra. Mi bandera, ay, mi bandera. Puerto Rico y todos los latinos. Sonamos donde quiera.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sports Jedi Network. We are Latinos with Wrestling Voices, where the force of pro wrestling meets the power of the fans. I am BS Sports Jedi Kev, one of the voices of the Sports Jedi Network. And tonight we have a first dive into the most chaotic week, unpredictable week on the road to WrestleMania, to Evolution, to No Surrender in the wrestling world was absolutely on fire. A lot of fallouts from NXT Vengeance Day all the way that changed the landscape of Stand and Deliver. The tension exploded across all the different platforms from Raw, the Bloodline setting a brutal, very clear message to CM Punk. Don't fuck with their family. While we have a AEW Dynamite where it got explosive with Hangman and MJF came face to face in a press conference that had the world talking. And of course, WWE SmackDown. We had a very shocking moment of this week for Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton in that contract signing with a lot of twists and turns. But before we get all that, we want to make sure that we shout out our sponsors, Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes, get fresh, get match ready, stay clean. Dude Wipes in the Sports Jedi Network. We're wiping out the competition. And of course, G Fuel Energy. Make sure you go to gfuelenergy.com. And when you check out, go hit your promo code PGA-Chris20 and save 20% off. And finally, of course, Blackout Coffee. Wake up, stand up, never back down. Whether you're pulling an all-liner or gearing up for the pay-per-view tomorrow night for 8 hours of professional wrestling, make sure you're fueled up with Blackout Coffee. But go to blackoutcoffee.com/Rumba. Use Rumba as a referral code, or use my personal referral code, SportsJedi20, and save 20% off each and every one of your orders. All right, let's now get into the introductions. It's all done. Let's go to the sharpest mind and analyst in the wrestling talk. PGH Chris, what's going on, brother?
What's going on, man? Yeah, we got SmackDown last night. We had a very big ending. We're gonna get into that. We're gonna get into everything like we do normally. I will say when we get into the AEW portion of things, it may be more of a Revolution prediction than a Dynamite preview per se, because there's only really one thing that I want to crap on, and that's the only thing. That's the thing that Kevin mentioned earlier, was that press conference that had the world talking. So I'm excited to predict Revolution for you guys. If you guys didn't check out my show on Wednesday night after the Dynamite was over, go check that out. And yeah, we're here on a Saturday night at 1 o'clock like always. So what do you want to start off with? What do you want to talk about?
Well, Chris, I want to start on something that I don't know if it's either me scrubbing my algorithm timeline when it comes to the X, because there's certain things I'm like, I tend to roll my eyes and try not to click on it, or I'm not interested. They have a feature, or sometimes muted. But I noticed yesterday with SmackDown, where the Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton leaving a bloody mess and all that stuff, and I'm starting to know a kick. Either they're losing interest or losing steam. It's the reactionary podcasters not showing their. I thought we were going to get bombarded with the. Maybe they're gearing up for Revolution. So it made me go down a rabbit hole to think. And I want to start with this company. I want to go with Total Nonstop Action. The reason why is, when TNA was going to, they've been very friendly with us. They've been very nice. They've been very cordial, professional, red carpet. We can't stop saying all and glazing when it comes to TNA. But I noticed that where in the world are those phony reactors that they flew in for the AMC reactionary, the con mans, the Wheezies, the portals, the Baba Booies, to fake react and glaze. Now they don't even talk shit. They do this ugats to TNA. TNA, you went in bed with them to give them the Habibi twins, the Halubu twins. None of them are there covering TNA, but the Sports Jedi Network, we're waving the TNA flag, even when they're recorded. I want to start with that.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were going to keep going there.
I was, but I stopped.
Yeah. It is. I know we talk about this a lot. It's just I have an issue with not just them, but just people like just going along with shit because of what it's going. It's a new thing in town right now. I can again, none of those people know anything about TNA. We sit here week in, week out, cover it. Not just this year. Kev has been covering TNA on this channel for a couple years now. I have been watching the damn company since 2008, 2009. I mean, it does suck. I understand where the frustration's coming from. Because again, where are they? Where and let's talk about I'm calling out Denise Salcedo right now. Busted open Thursday nights after dark. Why the fuck? So Thursday night, I did not get a chance to watch the show live. You know, shout out to my best friend. He just had a kid. I wanted to go see him, see the new family, all that stuff. So I said, you know what? I miss TNA. Let me hear what Denise is saying because she's the only one that does the review shows after, and then maybe I'll watch it later. She starts talking about her experience doing the media post, the fake ass fucking press conference that she did on Dynamite, not talking about TNA. And I'm like, what is up with these people that get the opportunities to work with this company and they bullshit and they treat TNA like it's like the little brother in town because, oh, I got to go cover AEW or WWE, which is fine because if that is what attracts your channel or your brand the most, cool. But then don't sit here and act like you're waving the TNA flag when you just use them to get maybe a Nick Nemeth or a Santana when they're relevant at the time. That's all it is. And I understand the reactionary podcasters, but I'm really calling out Denise Salcedo. Why? Because unlike she does do the reaction. First off, she puts more effort into reacting to the shows than she does on Busted Open. I don't know how Dave LaGreca and all those people don't notice that down there. Second, she, again, will do the watch along, go into depth about TNA and all this stuff. By the time she has to go on the radio, she doesn't want to talk about it because she already did it to her chat. Like, it's frustrating. But when people give people, hey, you're going to cover TNA for our big radio show, this and that is your literal assignment and you don't fucking do it, that's where I have the issue. The podcast reactors, they can do whatever they want. I still think they're irrelevant. Now, they might be a little bit relevant, whatever, to that community, but I think they're useless. So if you're going to get a title, I'm really talking about Busted Open and her. If you're going to get the title to cover TNA, cover fucking TNA and talk about TNA. You have that platform that can get people to actually be interested in this shit. And you don't do it. You don't do it. You interview them when they're relevant. Hell, we'll interview anybody they give us. They pick and choose. That's the difference between us and them.
Here's the thing, though. But they skip the line and they fucking push us to the back. That's what pisses me off. We're grinding and we're trying to do. We have no nepotism. We don't have friends that we know someone to get us open the door. We're trying to go from the ground up. We're living a dream, working a dream, grinding, working, and believing in ourselves. We could do, you know what? Philippians 4:13. If we could believe in all things through Christ that strengthens me. Yeah, I'm going to make it biblical. I don't give a crap. You know, we're trying to believe in ourselves. We could do all things that strengthens us. And meanwhile, you got these people skipping us and cutting on our line, taking our opportunities, getting flown and being there to. And meanwhile, we're working, we're grinding and working and we're waving and we're here Thursday nights when it's recorded. When they're not, no one has really, and we're talking and we're trying to break, and because we're not trying to you know what? We don't want that. We want to show that we truly love total nonstop action wrestling or TNA or anything that we cover because we're genuine fans and we love the product. We want to see the show grow. We don't want to be the ones to go, put me in there first row, but then LOL TNA behind their back. Or look at how crap it is. We don't do that. We want the company to grow and exceed top-notch level, to be the one of the top two promotions of professional wrestling, whichever two that you enjoy, or be a third alternative to it in this world of professional wrestling. And if you're going to host a Busted After Dark for that particular brand, if it's Raw, you're going to talk about Monday Night Raw or WWE. If you're going to be Wednesday nights, All Elite Wrestling, you're going to speak about All Elite Wrestling. If you're Thursday night for TNA Impact, don't start your show off talking about Dynamite, because there's people like us that are craving to go and have that opportunity to talk about total nonstop action TNA wrestling. and not just for 10 minutes, and then you're going to talk about fucking Kiss's greatest albums. It kind of puts some respect on TNA wrestling. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well said. And the worst thing is, and like they have, and I know I'm not trying to make this about Busted Open, calling them out specifically, but when they have Bully Ray, when they have Tommy fucking Dreamer, and Denise who covers it, you would expect there to be more TNA talk. Like, did they talk about TNA Friday yesterday on Busted Open? Exactly. And they had Bully Ray and Nick Nemeth a part of the fucking company. And I love you, Nick Nemeth. We not just got a chance to interview you, but we met you briefly at the softball game. And we even shouted out Busted Open. But, dude, you care more about analyzing Dynamite than promoting your own fucking company.
Yo, Steve Macklin had to pretend to be a caller. All right? Steve from New Jersey calls in. You guys got to, you know what? Why you guys are not talking about, and it was Steve Macklin talking about, yo, y'all need to stop talking about whatever you're talking about and get into TNA tonight. And yes, Steve Macklin had to call in. When the talent has to call in, and MJF did that the other day too, by the way.
I heard that.
He called in and said enough. You know, Tom had more radio time, all right, in the 3 hours than to talk about Mike Santana. And he goes, but talk about, you know what? Talk about Mike Santana's story. There's listeners on the other side of their dial on satellite radio that might be going through the same issues and boats as Mike Santana. That's an inspirational story. Not just Mike. There's so many. If you don't want to really talk about the nuts and bolts of the wrestling, and if they find the wrestling show to be boring into there, because that's the new copy and paste of 2026, it's boring. So talk about the wrestler's storyline then. Their struggles outside of the wrestling business and how they overcome from different addictions and different things, different stories. That's if they don't want to cover the nuts and bolts about the freaking wrestling or creative. But who cares about Tom Hanks' greatest movies? They have a channel for that. They have it on their own. When you pay $11.99 to hear Busted Open and to hear wrestling, or to hear Pro Wrestling Nation or talk about wrestling, not Tom. It wasn't. I didn't pay $11.99 to listen to Tom Hanks or the Tom Hanks greatest movies.
I can go on a fucking YouTube video and watch somebody talk about Tom Hanks' greatest movies.
Yeah.
What movie does Tom Hanks out right now that you even brought that up? Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? I agree. I have nothing.
And then they're the first ones to attack. Oh, go listen to the bottom feeders podcasters. But we're trying, you know what? Because we're trying to talk wrestling, what you're not doing. That's why there's a lot of quote unquote bottom feeders podcasters. Because we want to talk about wrestling and hear about because like you said, you can't tell me how the wrestling's done. You've never taken a bump in my life. Is that a clutch that they use and they throw at the fans' face? So we come to you and we're giving you $12 fucking to let me hear your thoughts on the bumps that we never take. But no, we got to hear about what you like, what Tom Hanks movie you like.
And then when we say something, well, you guys never wrestled. Okay, then fuck you.
Exactly. We're the paying customer. We're the consumer. Guess what? We're the reason why
I'm entitled to. If I think this shit's trash, I'm going to say it's trash. I paid for it. I paid to view it. I paid to consume it. So that's why I don't understand. When they say, oh, well, you're criticizing. Yeah, motherfuckers, I have to pay $11.99 for it Sirius.
Yes.
And I have Sirius because of two things, Stephen A. Smith and the sports. But main reason is for wrestling content. And you know what? As much as we talk shit about Sam, he actually talks about the damn shows all the time.
Correct.
As much as we don't like not Sam, he actually talks about it from the start. Sometimes he'll get whatever, and then he'll go right into it. They don't do that on the main program. But this is about TNA, and they need to start doing that with TNA.
They need to put, we got off the track with it's not about attacking Busted Open, because guaranteed if they call us tomorrow and say, hey, would you like a 20-minute show? We'll be the first ones to fly over there and run. Well, definitely, because that's the main goal, guys, because we put you in that pedestal of the top of the notch. You want to say you're the number one program in professional wrestling, and we agree. We're not saying you're not.
They are. Busted Open is the number one program in professional wrestling. Absolutely.
but we want you to make sure and I know that they broke a record of people calling for Tom Hanks. What do we do? Is that really? It's like I think the energy could be focused on different and you could still make it the world of professional wrestling if you would talk about some of these wrestlers' stories outside of the the current stars. Like again, I like to use an example. The guy asked for help. Different people with different problems, different issues. Why did Busted Open not have? They have a platform to reach people. Why wasn't anything talked about how Harley Cameron had to scrap her Twitter account? The brutalness and the viciousness of the words and the attack of the IWC, the internet community that attacks and causes these professional wrestlers to just turn off just totally disconnect from social media. Thea Hale, no mention of Thea Hale one bit about that outcry and outburst on social media, how bad it felt. If they did, they might have done it for a quick, brief second, and then they rushed to the commercial breaks.
Yeah.
Could we have a dialogue and conversation and educate the wrestling community? Yes, they're paid professionals, they're paid athletes, but they're still people, they're still human, and the words that we criticize and say in slings and arrows do affect the talent. Nobody wants to open up. Even if the wrestler itself is conditioned to not let those negative slings and arrows hurt them, but they're still a sister. They're still a brother. They're still a son, a daughter, a grandchild of someone. And that person might not have the mental capacity or prepared professionally to hear that negative slings and arrows about their loved ones. That shit hurts. So why have these platforms like a Busted Open have that conversation? Bubba Ray has talked openly about the young Japanese wrestler that she took her life and drank a whole bottle of pills because of the online Discord negativity. Could we have, there should be a reform, a sport. Where is the conversation with that? We have the responsibilities with our words and our actions. So we need that instead of hearing about time. I know you have to have levity. It's a variety show of 3 hours. I get it, but when there's a lot of other things in the plate of the conversation and you stick with that for too long, where is the balance, Chris? I don't know.
I agree. No, I agree. I agree.
It's just crazy. It might not. I mean, I not agree with everyone, and people might not agree with me with this conversation we're having. But it's from a position of caring and wanting. Like we want to see total nonstop action TNA to get that proper respect and recognition. Here's the thing: if that's not your cup of coffee, like I say, All Elite Wrestling is not my cup of coffee, but we're covering. I will give it the respect, the honor, and Chris has his opportunity to cover it. But I'm not going to be a hypocrite to go running and want to cover a post-show, pre-show when they ask me to. Because if that's not my cup of coffee and I'm not going to get behind it, I'm not going to hypocritically go and promote it and be the first ones to do the pro show like some people do on that channel.
I think I would agree when it, I agree. I agree. It just, if you're going to be consistent with something, just the consistency. That's it. That's all it is.
Yeah. And it took away from, and let's get right into TNA Thursday. I thought the whole show was despite being pre-recorded, was a great Atlanta crowd. The crowd in Atlanta for TNA wrestling was really hot from the very beginning, from the Hardys tag team match against Sinners and Saints. Big, really good, hot crowd. The debut of Ricky Sosa. I mean, I'm going to be totally shocked. I didn't know that many people in Atlanta were really into the whole Ricky Sosa entrance. I was flabbergasted. When people thought about, oh, no one's going to know who Trick Williams whooped that trick. And meanwhile, he came out. Now I'm like, why? I felt that same way when I saw Ricky Sosa's debut for TNA. They've got themselves a young man from the European independent scene. If they have not, they should. I hope they didn't let that kid leave the TNA arena without giving him a contract, some type of dual contract, some type of 6 months, whatever short term that they do. They have to keep that kid in TNA because and wrestling wise, it was okay. We seen it. It was a dime a dozen, but the crowd, the response, and the energy that he brought in his entrance was phenomenal. And I'm gonna put a pin on the entrance because I want to talk about the entrance. It's how important an entrance is, Chris. So your thoughts on Ricky Sosa, and then we'll talk a little more.
Yeah, I mean, no, not too much to add there. I think you pretty much nailed it on the head. I think we talked about this a little bit, just us two off air, where TNA needs to sign guys like this. They're not gonna have the money or the just ability to go out and sign like a big, well-known guy, especially coming from the WWE or whatever like that. So they can keep finding these indie talents that are getting some type of traction, whether it's on social media or anywhere else that people they start recognizing him. Yeah, those are the type of talents that TNA should go after. You can, again, this kid has never been on TV, so if you were to offer him a dual contract, he'll accept it, and obviously that will build them up. You guys can build him up from there. But yeah, I agree. I think he's somebody that you need to have. His theme song's obviously catchy as shit because it's made by a legit artist that people know. And I know that's kind of what you want to talk about, so I'll let you go on from there.
And this is something that was very important. And when it comes, and we've been saying this, and I'm very disappointed and shocked with Triple H, Paul Levesque. It's not, and this is not a TKO thing. It's not a TKO thing, less if they were. It's more of a creative ear, because you don't need TKO to tell you what to hear, unless if they're micromanaging that too.
You see the UFC, they come out, they have no problem licensing music for people to walk out to.
And it's not about them going on a spending spree and signing, licensing everyone's music, because Vince never did that. But it's about the importance of introduction theme music. That tells the story. That sets the foundation of whether you're going to get really behind a wrestler or not when that music and that theme song hits of any professional wrestler. And Triple H, I really am disappointed with him. Coming from that Attitude Era, being part of all the different Ruthless, all that, how important theme music was. Where, look, MVP wasn't really the greatest for me at the beginning. I'm like, it wasn't really. But when that clock ticking, that song was banger. Tell me not when you're one, two.
And he comes out and then he does this and the pyro comes.
Bro,
oh my
you're
God.
ready. You're already invested in the wrestler.
I think he's the greatest United States champion of all time just because.
Thank you. Why? Because the theme song set you up to want to get. Well, it stopped.
Same thing with Mark Henry. This guy had 3-6 Mafia doing his fucking theme song. Like
exactly.
And Triple H had Lemmy from Motorhead do his songs.
That's why I call him out, Chris.
He lived in an era. He lived in an era where rappers and musicians were involved in the pro wrestling culture. Maybe not as much during that time, but in WC, like all these people, all these rappers and musicians, they love wrestling. Master P, who was very popular at that time, he's a co-main guy in the house, so he loves wrestling. You're gonna tell me like Future or not Future, Metro Boomin, the producer who has made a lot of Future hits, the rapper, dude, him with like him doing like a Jacob Fatu theme or like a remix of Jey Uso, just somebody like that would be gold. Like, and it's very few people. Like Becky has a legit artist doing their theme. I can't really name other people. It's all Def Rebel. And when they do have something, like there's no way Natty, they were going to let her put a Rage Against the Machine song on WWE. But can you at least like not Def Rebel it so where it sounds like shit? Just give her a whole fucking new theme. Make her a whole new one.
Now, when this stream is over, I need you to double check. I need a little homework assignment. I think the new song from Lash Legend and Nia Jax, they got Little John on it. It sounds, he's really a good Little John imitator. Their new theme song that they came out yesterday is like, that sounds like Little John. I don't know if it's true or not, but it sounds like it. I said that yesterday, and on my watch on now, I'm having it sounds like it. We got to listen to it and double check after the stream is over to confirm it. But it does sound like there's a little John into it. But my point is, Triple H comes from this era where they know how, and I was about to say, maybe I can't blame him too much because he has his hands full with creative and writing. But let me ask you this. if these wrestlers come out with some bangers introduction, and I'm not saying it's gonna fix everything, but if it's one less thing to let one less sling and arrow his way, one less criticism, because damn, those theme songs are fire, and then you listen to them, maybe the mood and the eyeball of the wrestling watcher or reactor or criticism, the defenses drop down a little because this is some good theme music. Puts them in a better mood to see the wrestling in another different angle. But when everything sounds Def Rebel and it sounds the same, and you don't know who's who, you already got your guards up.
That's one thing I was going to bring up. But this is another problem I'm having with Triple H. It's not that just the theme songs. It's that I don't know if it's him, if it's the talent, but when you have a theme song, they change it. That's one thing, like getting like, I don't know how to explain it, like somebody coming from NXT, like, and they come to the main roster, like some of them, they've changed their songs. I'm just like, why? Like, what is like, you're going to tell me that Jordynne Grace, like, she can go on social media, she can go on Twitter and say how much she loves that fucking theme song. It sucks.
It's a terrible song.
It sucks. And why? Because we knew when we heard the sirens that it was her. And I know you talk about that a lot, but it's true. So yeah, I agree. But Ricky Sosa has a good theme song. And he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
He'll be good. That's gonna be good. And let's stick on the T. We'll get back into that WWE and their theme music entrance. Let's wrap up here. TNA wrestling. I thought for Mike Santana and Steve Maclin, they made sense how Maclin is getting back into the company. The reinstatement, the world title picture, they no physicality for a couple of weeks. That's going to be a battle war between Maclin and Mike Santana, where now the main event, you want to see that because there's still Nick Nemeth running around with a coil shot, Eddie Edwards with the briefcase. Although we haven't seen Eddie Edwards too much with that briefcase to tease. I don't know if they're waiting and they're going to put that in like a little bit of a back burner for later on. But I enjoy what I saw between Maclin and Santana because you don't need to get physical. And I love when Maclin got in that ring and told his side of the story. He doesn't have to run around to the VA, throwing a little bit of shots with a little realism, blurring the line there again. And by the way, I got to put this shot out. That's a badass T-shirt Mike Santana had on. He had Hector Lavoe. Let's go. If you know, you know.
Yeah, no, I saw that. But yeah, they're as a little bit not confusing, but all over the place. It's been the last couple of weeks with TNA kind of throwing the feast and fire gimmick because I talked about this, and I think a lot of TNA fans who've watched the Feast and Fire before, like there's only few people. There's only I forget who it was. There was one person that like really came back. It might have been Chavo or Austin Aries or somebody that actually came back, but it wasn't like as quick as Maclin. It was like in the next few weeks or a month. It was one of those two. I forget, but everyone else, who've gotten fired, it was more like, well, their contracts was expiring. They're not coming to a new deal. That was just the way to write them off TV. Now, this to me feels that, but it feels like maybe they're playing that on TV. Like maybe like Steve Maclin did get the feast and fired, all this, and then maybe they worked their way to another deal while all that was happening to maybe get some buzz for the show. Whatever. But my point is, I think that Maclin and Santana have been doing a very good job of kind of, again, telling or making sense at least on why Steve Maclin should be back. And look, Steve Maclin's performance is also a big reason why I can kind of really want to pay attention to him when he's talking right now, because I don't think we've really seen, like, Steve Maclin, we've heard him a lot through the last couple of years of TNA, but now this is the first time I'm really seeing Steve Maclin really on the mic feel comfortable and confident with his delivery, because he's a quiet dude. He's a quiet dude that kind of just likes to fight. So I've never really heard Steve Maclin kind of go out of his comfort zone like that and really speak. and his delivery, like it was great. I love it. I think their match. I don't know if they said when their match is going to be, when
Yeah,
they're teasing it.
sacrifice on the 27th.
Sacrifice on the okay. So they do sacrifice. That's going to be a good card, good match there, and we'll see what happens. But again, there's still a lot of people. Nemeth, Edwards still have implications there, and we'll see. But I think also Tom Hannafin being added to the equation is also good as well, because it's true that Steve Macklin did give Hannafin his job and all that stuff. So yeah, they're doing a good job here. I like it.
You know why Steve Macklin is out of a little bit of his, that he's seeming more comfortable? It's all to getting in front of a camera and recording boots to boots with his wife.
Yeah,
I think that has a lot to do with it. I think he's more comfortable. He's seeing another side of Steve Macklin. Just and it's him. If you haven't checked out Boots to Boots with Steve Macklin and Deonna Purrazzo, you guys got to. Really good, especially the first season, the first few episodes that they did recording. It's just him. It's Steve Macklin, and Deonna Purrazzo talking about who they are. And I felt that kind of opened up Steve Macklin to show a little bit of his charisma that has always been there, but now he always had like a guard up, because of course he's been trained by the United States Marine Corps to keep that. It's about the mission. It's about getting out there and kicking ass, putting on his mission boots to kick ass. But this here now, he's felt like he's dropped, and we're seeing an inside of his personality resonate on the TNA television on who Steve Macklin is as a person, and it just feels a genuine, authentic, because he's having fun. It seems like this Steve Macklin we're getting, and I know he's this heel, he's having fun. There's a rekindled passion and love when it comes for him cutting out there and cutting those promos. That's why I really am focus on this feud between him and Mike Santana, where it's going to it's resonating right now, and they haven't even gotten physical with one another. So they got me hook, line, and sinker, because I want to see this match. Because there's a lot of history. Santana's first match returning back at the Palms for TNA at No Surrender was Steve Macklin. So there is a lot of kingship, a lot of good story history with them, and now they're going to go fight for the biggest prize in TNA's brand right now, which is the TNA World Title. So it makes sense, and kudos to Deonna, the wife, who got Steve Macklin to open up, and Steve able to get out of his comfort zone on the microphone and speak. I think great job for TNA re-signing him and keeping him on a board there. And I think he's just solidified himself as a TNA. He is TNA. The bottom end of TNA is Steve Macklin, and I can't wait to see where that goes going forward. Let me ask this here, but before we wrap up the TNA, how did you like Mustafa Ali's haircut? Looked different.
Yeah. It was very, very different.
Different with him with a nice a fade, a nice little taper fade. I was like, oh, I like it. Let's go.
Very different.
It looks different. I'm not hating it. It's just different. I was like, oh, okay. You know what? Order 4 got reordered here with Mustafa Ali with the haircut. I mean, all right. It was something different. Did you like the Rich Swann, Trey Miguel, and BDE trios combination with each other as a group? I liked it, believe it or not.
Them as a group, yeah, I think they work very similar with each other. And it was a good match. But I like the main event. That's kind of the match that I enjoyed throughout this match. Was I think Cedric is very good. He looked very, very good in this match here. Good street fight. Moose is obviously very dominant, but that's the match of the night that I really enjoyed, was the main event, the street fight between Cedric and Moose. That was good. And they yeah.
No, did you?
I think they had some unfinished business in like Ring of Honor or some shit too back in the early days. So this was a really good match.
But did you bid into Moose? He looked like he was compromised out there. Either that or he had me like, yo, Moose is really hurt. Because there's no history. Yeah. There's history that he had back issues. But boy,
he's always been selling that back though. Either he always sells it because people know, or that shit's just really fucked up.
Well, he's blurring the line, because there's at least 60% of the time I think he's compromised. On that watch along, I was like, man, I think he's really
same thing with Hardy. because Jeff has already said so many times, like he wants to get he needs surgery, but he doesn't want to get it right now. Like, and he's been working with, so yeah, if he's probably going through a little bit, not to the degree, but he's probably going, it may be even in the degree, who knows, but he's probably going through the same shit Jeff Hardy is.
Well, let me ask this here about Jeff Hardy. How did you like his new submission hold before, he still hit the swanton after the match?
So the swanton, yeah. It's fine. I mean, that's something, we don't really see Jeff do a lot of whole submissions. So I liked it.
Yeah, that was a cool one. And like you said, that street fight match of the night, I enjoyed the 6-man with Order 4 and these guys. I'm not a big BDE guy, but I thought they all worked well. Trey Miguel is just that other guy that's in another level. You could tell he's wrestling with to prove a chip on his shoulder, to prove that something out there. And that was a good one there for TNA. And for being a show that was pre-recorded, you had a lot of match of the night quality there. You had a lot of great matches. This is why we got on and we got a little bit frustrated, because there was a lot of good quality substance matches. Nothing was boring. You didn't have Tomohiki sleeping on a graphic, watching sleeping in a corner. It was a 2 hours of really action. Everything was moving. Everything was great. Even the knockout match, even the everything they had there for TNA resonate. And that's why we get a little bit passionate, upset when we don't hear people putting the respect on the card and speaking about that. You want to talk about other things that doesn't, start off that you were at a press conference when it's supposed to be TNA After Dark. So TNA, keep up the great work. At least this channel here is going to always wave that flag for you. We are TNA, and we're going to continue resonating and screaming on top of our lungs. TNA. How many people listens to is up to you guys if you want to support us or not. That's why we ask you for that there. And let's go. And then we're gonna shift gears here to. We're going to leave the WWE talk for a long time at the end, because we're going to consume a little bit of everything. But first, let's hear from our sponsor, Jude Webs.
All right, quick break. Don't go anywhere. This segment is sponsored by Dude Wipes. Whether you're grinding through work, hitting the gym, or locked in for a full night of wrestling, Dude Wipes help you stay fresh. Simple as that. Portable, convenient, and designed for real life. And of course, this show is powered by the Sports Jedi Network, independent wrestling coverage, real discussion, and a community that actually knows the product. If you rock with what we do here, support the sponsors that support the channel. Now, let's get back to the breakdown. Take it away, PGH Chris and Sports Jedi Kev.
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
Thank you, Jody Threat. Let's talk some AEW Dynamite. Chris, I know, by the way, if you have not checked out Wednesday nights, immediately after Elite Wrestling Dynamite, the live reaction recap show here with PGH Chris here, who's done a phenomenal job. If you miss it, if you can't stay up late and you're on the road in the morning, anywhere, Spotify, or anywhere, Apple Music, anywhere you get your audio platform, it's immediately there. You could get it either the Sports Jedi Network or the Wrestling Soup and Friendos, so you could listen to this. Chris, give me your thoughts here on Dynamite, man.
Yeah, Dynamite wasn't terrible. It was a good Dynamite. A lot of good matches. I thought the matches were good. Obviously, that's the strength of AEW. I just, they didn't have much to, I guess, build for Revolution. Not that they need to already, because I thought they've done a fairly good job of doing it, especially with the main event match. But just this card just felt like a lot of good matches. And the one match that I loved was Kyle Fletcher versus Speedball. I'm not going to start off. Two things I'm going to talk about this Dynamite and a little bit of Revolution previews here. So again, I know we got a long WWE segment, but let's preview a little bit of Dynamite or Revolution. But let's talk about two things. First, Kyle Fletcher and Speedball Bayley. Start with the positive. They had a match, TNT Championship. It was very good. I enjoyed the hell out of that match. The reason why I won't give it like a 5 out of 5 or anything like that, I didn't like the ending. I think the ending didn't really need that. It's whatever it was, but the match was very good. I believe these two had their match in the Owen last year. And I said this, right, where I was like, I think Mike Speedball Bailey's best match since coming into AEW was his match against Okada. And I think this is his best match in AEW. This was very good. There was a point in the match where I actually thought Speedball Mike Bailey would win. Now, I know I might be the only one that will feel that way and that will tell you that. But I think that Speedball he's very good. He's very good. And I really thought he'd be the one. I didn't think he'd win, but there was a few moments where I thought he was going to win. So that was very good. Kyle Fletcher, again, looks incredible. I think he looks very, very good. He looks like a star. People like him. I think he's kind of got out of that shell a little bit with being with Will Ospreay, him joining the Callis family. So that was a very good match. I enjoyed that. Now let's talk about the negative, right? We have got to talk about that damn press conference. I mean, what a bad press conference. I know some people are going to say it was okay. It wasn't as bad as maybe I'm making it seem. Oh no, it was. It was. They did not need to do this style of a press conference just for Hangman and MJF to maybe brawl out into the ring. You should have taken what WWE did last night with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. That's what they should have done. Not Denise Salcedo asking some bullshit scripted question that nobody cares. Not whoever the fuck is asking these questions. She just kept going on and on and on. Like, I think when MJF and Hangman finally were starting to brawl out to the ring and go, I'm like, okay, that's better than what we saw that entire face-to-face. Like, that they did not need to do that. Again, they should have taken a page out of WWE's book last night and do what Randy and Cody did, which was a contract signing or a face-to-face in the ring. That I didn't like that. I didn't like that. It did not connect with me. You heard the crowd boo. Why? Because look, if you were going to do that, as much as I would have fucking hated it, you could have done that in the ring. Something to where the fans in the arena can see these two guys face to face one last time. Now, we obviously got that when they brawled, but I did not like that segment, bro. And it wasn't because Denise asked the question. It was all of them. All the questions sucked. Why the fuck was Bryan Danielson the guy moderating that? And if he has history with both of these guys, and he just felt useless like he does on commentary. So yeah, those are the two things I took from the show. That Kyle Fletcher and Speedball was a phenomenal match, but I did not like the ending of it. And that segment was not a good go-home segment when these two were going to have a good main event. And they actually did a great job building this match up. This Wednesday just was not the cherry on top.
Here's one thing. I got to give them credit. When I saw that, I said, at least they're trying something different. Yes. Was it the right spot to do that there? You could determine. That's for you to determine and break down, and that's what we're doing. If you're going to do that press conference, I mean, I don't know. I got to give them credit. They tried something. It didn't work. It just did not work. It was terrible. It wasn't great. You said that and I agree with you. They should have done the press conference or contract signing outside the arena, because you could literally hear people saying boring and booing. That's not a good sign. Was these questions scripted, not scripted? It's a wrestling show. It's within the wrestling. It's within it. Dynamite. I won't even be. Who cares at this point if it was scripted on the questions that the media was asking, because they're all getting comp tickets. We all know we all know the chumminess with Will Washington and Denise Salcedo. So she was part of the show. She's now part of AEW wrestling. To me, what I got out of Dynamite, boy, did you see that man crush? That human man crush between Dave Meltzer looking at Okada? He undressed him with his eyes.
I didn't even know he was there until I
Oh,
saw it. You didn't even see my review. I did not mention that. I didn't even know. I must have looked at my. Obviously, I'm here prepping and doing other stuff. So maybe during the entrances, I did not see that. I saw the picture and I saw it. I ended up going back and watching it, but I was mind blown. I did not even. I was like, "What?" Dave Meltzer was like. That was a step. Yeah.
boy, now I see where was Dynamite at?
I think it was in California.
What part?
Was it in San Jose? San Jose.
And I didn't know Dave Meltzer lived in San Francisco.
They were in San Jose Civic Center.
Mm-hmm. Boy, but bro, I gotta bring that picture up. I gotta find that Dave Meltzer picture because, bro, he undressed him with his eyes. I mean, I never seen, bro. I knew wrestling fans had a lot of lust in them when they see all these thirstiness with all these female wrestlers, but Dave Meltzer, he has a lust of love for Okada. He said he would have given 6 stars that Dynamite if it was in the Tokyo Dome.
Oh my god.
Bro, that guy was just, oh my goodness. He made that other girl, the chubby girl from New York, the Queen of the Ring, Alexis, whatever, when she did that with Hobbs, that she was undressing him with her eyes. She made that picture look like make it look like a schoolgirl crush compared to a Meltzer.
Looking for this one?
There we go. Thank you. Oh my god.
Dude, he's eyeing him. Look at that. He's like, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
And talk about, he says, when I'm done with you, you're going to need more than medicated dude wipes. That's that look he gave him. Holy. He hasn't. That's a guy that if I'm Bully Ray, I won't invite him to his sausage party because he
the rooftop. No, they're inviting everybody left and right. Le'Veon Bell, Dion Dawkins, everybody left and right to their fucking.
Have you met? And they haven't even invited one female yet. I told you that's a sausage fest.
It's a sausage fest. They're not supposed to invite females.
Let's stay on track. Let's stay on track with AEW. Kyle Fletcher, Speedball, Mike Bailey. In the words of, it was a good match. Match of the TV quality match. Phenomenal match. That's what they do. They put on a good match, but then what's going to happen on the pay-per-view?
Speedball's going to go for the trios titles. It's Jet Speed and Mystico versus Fletcher. When I think they should just ran this match back at the fucking pay-per-view. Fuck the trios.
And you said that on Wednesday night.
I did say that on Wednesday night. I want to see it again. It was great.
Exactly.
I don't want to see a trios match. You can't even have the real trio that you took the titles from because Hangman's fighting for the championship. He wasn't even supposed to be in the group anyway. But those are the two things I took away from Dynamite. But little preview of Revolution. I think Revolution. It's not looking like a bad card. They obviously I think they got like 13 matches, so it's going to be a long one. But before me and Kev went on the air, I did mention it was Tony Khan announced that AEW Revolution sold out the crypto arena with the $1 million gate. So good start to AEW's pay-per-view models in 2026. This is their first pay-per-view in 2026. So that's obviously good, financially. Obviously, we talk about, right? AEW's pay-per-views are, in my opinion, the real way that this company makes their money. Not all of it, but a majority of it. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a good show. I'll give you guys 3 matches that I'm excited to watch. Thank you, Kev, for pulling them on the screen. I give you 3 matches I'm excited to watch besides the main event. Takeshita and Moxley. I think Moxley has been taking out the Don Callis family little by little, has been feuding with them. I think this match is going to be good. We kind of saw a little preview of it this Wednesday, which I don't know how happy I was about it, but that's going to be a good one. I think is going to be a banger. Swerve versus Brody King. I think they've done a great job of building that matchup because, again, the whole story between these guys is Kenny Omega said that Brody King was the most dangerous man in AEW, and Swerve Strickland is not just proving to Kenny, but is now proving to Brody King that he is the most dangerous man in AEW. And I think they've done a good job of building that story up. And the third match, which really does not mean much, but I'm going to say Andrade and Bandito. I think that's going to be a great in-ring match. And one thing I'm hoping for the AEW Women's Tag Team Championship titles that Lena Cross and Megan Bayne win, and that Harley Cameron turns on Willow so they can get a TBS title feud going, or some way, somehow, Megan Bayne pins Willow, and if that doesn't happen, Megan Bayne's next in line for the TBS Championship. So those are the quick things I'd like to happen at Revolution, but this is the card tomorrow night, live in LA at the Crypto Arena.
And kudos on All Elite Wrestling for getting their $1 million gate to the Crypto Arena. I know they're going to have some good people paying for the pay-per-view. They always do good numbers on their pay-per-view. They're financially, they're going to do some good stuff here for the company tomorrow night for All Elite Wrestling. Here's the one thing that I have a little bit of a gripe that grinds my gears, that bothers me a little bit, where I have talent going on social media wanting TV time, wanting matches, opportunities. We heard it from Johnny Mundo, Diana Peraza, Tyra Valkyrie. You have a list of talents that are frustrated they don't get enough TV time. On a pay-per-view that is extremely long by 3-4 matches, why is Willow having 2 matches and Lena Cross 2 matches? Talents where they're going to be, it's not like they're in a big demand to watch them wrestle twice on a card. What's the purpose here? That's something that could have been told even on a Dynamite, if they were going to do something along those lines. Because I think Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron are going to retain. Personally, I think they're not. No, let me take that back. Yes, I think they're going to retain. I don't think they're going to be a heel turn. And Willow is just going to beat Lena Cross. It's just you're just going to go through the motion. I don't think they'll pull the tag team title change. I don't think Hallie is going to turn heel unless if you're going to have Megan Bayne pin and win the tag team titles, and Megan sets up for
that's what I think is going to happen.
Willow Nightingale one-on-one. Maybe that one. I like that scenario you were talking about. Hangman and MJF for the world title. Hangman's winning this. I'm the only one on an island. Hangman is going to be your AEW world title.
I do have him at if I was gambling, I would put MJF, but dude, I'm not going to lie. There is a part of me, just like you, that thinks I'm not fully there, but I do think Hangman has a chance of winning that. I agree slightly.
There's 2 things that Max is moving towards, more making a little more movie, obligation pictures, something that might have got moved up in productions that he already signed ink to paper, that, you know what, we're starting early, pal. We need you here. Maybe. I'm not saying there's any truth to that. I'm just saying maybe a variable out there, and Hangman, and that's a way out of their stipulation. Where he, or maybe his wife wants to go on a freaking honeymoon already, and you know what? Now is the opportunity. I don't know, but I don't see Max, because I see Max coming back for that show in the Louis Armstrong Arena. He's going to be off a little bit of TV because Dynasty feels more like it should be Hangman and Swerve going one-on-one there. Unless I don't know. I still have a funny feeling that Hangman wins. The Takeshita and Moxley, I can see Moxley retaining because eventually, and leaving for Takeshita getting kicked out of the Callis family. And then you're going to set up your anarchy in the arena where Takeshita is actually going to join the Death Riders, or ally with them. I know, but it's just AEW. You have to have that factor.
I know, especially during Anarchy in the Arena season.
Yeah, you have to have that
anarchy in the stadium this year, actually.
Because did they ever make sense with Gabe Kidd teaming up with the Death Riders?
No, and now he's not even with them at all.
So does that make sense if Takeshita teams up with the Death Riders the same way Gabe Kidd teamed up with them?
But yes.
And Don Callis has a lot of
but it makes sense in AEW's world. So
exactly. That's my point. That's what I'm trying to think of their stupid logic. Andrade versus Bandito. Okay, that's gonna be
I think that's gonna just wrestling alone, not anything implications. I don't care about what's like, just a strict wrestling match one-on-one. I think that's going to be a very good match.
I tend to agree with you there. The FTR and Bucks, Ciampa's going to get involved some way, somehow here. I don't, everyone hoping that Edge and Christian returns. It kind of seems like FDR is going to be going for the trios. It feels like AEW is pushing more of a trios, and that's why the tag team titles are going to be parked or put away with the Bucks. That's just going to be monumental for them to walk around for a few months to almost the full year, and it's going to be trios heavy with the company because they have a lot of trios forming from Austin Colt, the Guns and Juice Robinson and Ace Austin. You've got the Rascals. You got you got the War Dogs. So Tony Khan's flavor of the month right now is trios, and the tag team titles you park them on the Bucks, and now you're gonna put FTR with Ciampa as a 6-man or trios going forward. So I like Bucks winning. Brody King versus Swerve. Brody King doesn't have a chance. I think Swerve Strickland wins. I'll be surprised if Swerve gets beaten by Brody King. I will be really surprised, but Tony doesn't book big men, so I'm going with Swerve. I think he likes Swerve.
Oh, I'm going with Swerve too.
I don't think Swerve loses here. Let's see this one here. The Trios Championship, they're not losing that. That's not coming off Okada, Fletcher, and Mark Davis. This one, Tekla, Chris Tekla taking on Statlander. Statlander ain't losing. Statlander's not winning. Excuse me. You think they're not going to have Tekla lose the title already?
I agree, but I still think there's a small chance Statlander could win that back.
You think so?
A small chance.
Damn. Unless if they want
like a 20%. I'm more like 80-20.
Unless if Tekla, well, you still got the girls, the Sisters of Wrath or whatever.
Fucking Julia Hart and what's her face, Sky Blue.
Yeah, she needed the money.
I mean, Kyle's getting paid pretty well.
I don't know. Statlander feels like her days in AEW are coming to a conclusion. That's the way I feel. Her days in AEW are coming to a conclusion. I don't see her winning. That's why Tekla is going to win. Marina Shafina versus Toni Storm. We move on.
Yeah.
And then,
Costco family.
That's the Battle Royal, Ricochet. Yeah. And we're going to have AJ Boom. I'm going on a prediction. AJ, the Costco guy, Boom, is going to win that title. He's going to be your national champion. And he's going to have a side plate of Costco cookies and Costco donuts.
When they did the media call, by the way, how the fuck am I need to get it somehow in this media calls. But they did the media call for Revolution, and somebody asked them about Big Boom AJ. And it was like, yeah, well, the difference between Big Boom AJ and a lot of the other celebrities in pro wrestling is that he's an actual trained wrestler before coming in, whatever. Like, he's wrestled in the independents. So he's actually carved his way. Like, Tony was, he's winning. And then Ricochet is going to go on Twitter, talk shit, and then fans are going to be like, bro, you lost your title to fucking the Cookie Man. Yeah,
he's going to lose the Cookie Man. And we didn't mention a match. Because I'm not going to spend my time talking about board dogs and pendejos.
I'm not wasting my time. The only reason why I cover Orange Cassidy matches on Dynamite is because it's a 2-hour show and I got to give you guys a good show. But no, I am not. Nope. Fuck Orange Cassidy. He sucks. He's terrible.
Es un pendejo. That's Darby Allin.
I like Darby Allin. I just don't like him that he's teaming. I love Darby Allin.
Es una mierda.
I know. You know. I know. You hate. I love.
Bro, I agree with your assessment when you record. Why did he? Because he got pinned because he's a pendejo. Plain and simple. Oh, I'll take the pin. That's being a pendejo. You make Orange Cassidy get the pin. Because exactly. I don't know. Everybody wants him. Everybody wanted him to be the AEW champion.
I was one of those. I was one of those people.
So he shouldn't be the pendejo laying down and getting pinned. That's why he classifies and he gets certified. Dave Meltzer 6 stars pendejo.
Yeah, and the thing is, people like him. Like Cornette actually likes Darby. Like he says Darby has a good look. It's not his style, but in terms of you see kids in the front row painting his face and they love all these people. He has a good fan base and he does things the way that aren't supposed to be done. I think people actually want to root for Darby. I just don't think they
Not
root
this guy.
for the shit he's doing, if that makes sense. They don't want to see him breaking glass on his breath. They don't want to see the stunts. But I think people do fuck with Darby. Darby's actually a big reason why I started actually watching AEW. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, he has a good look. It's just, man, he needs to stop doing the shit. And I think they should have put the AEW title on him 2 years ago. But that's a day for no. That's a different day or story for another day, whatever. But real quick before Revolution, I think Will Ospreay is going to make an appearance. I'm not going to say he's going to return, but I think we'll see Will Ospreay.
United Kingdom, Los Angeles. It's a big enough city. Yeah.
His wife, we got to remember that his wife is literally teaming up with Jamie Hayter on Dynamite. Like, it's not a stretch. He's probably there with his wife anyway. He's just not making appearances.
He's rehabbing.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if, again, it doesn't have to be him challenging anybody or declaring, hi, guys. Just, maybe after a match, it comes out, oh, surprise, like, hey, I'm hoping to be back here in AEW soon. Hopefully I can make my way to London, something, and then I'm going to take care of myself. I'll see you guys, like, something like that I think would be cool.
Let me ask this, over and under, how long is this pay-per-view going to last tomorrow? Including the pre-show.
So it starts at 7:30, I would say.
It's probably 6:30 because don't they do an hour with the Slapnuts and Paquette and RJ?
0 hour starts at 7.
Ugh.
So okay, let's start 7.
1 in the morning.
Wait, 7, 8, 9. I'm gonna say like 5.5. I think it will go at like 11 till 11:30.
I think it finishes at 12:45.
Or you know what? I'll say 12. I'll say 12. I'll say midnight.
Ugh.
I'll say midnight because the reason why I say that is because they're on the West Coast, so us East Coast people are gonna take the shit for it.
Because the crowd is going to be invested because it's not going to be that late. It's going to be
not going to be that late. It's going to be like 4
body wise for the people in the arena. It's going to feel like, oh, it's almost supper time. 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Or even 9. It's like, all right. It's like it's like a Lakers game. All right, but for them,
double or nothing is going to be challenge. Like, yeah, like when they go to the East. But yeah, we'll see. But I'll give him like 5.5, 6 hours.
Yeah, I think so too. That's going to be a strong marathon. I wonder if the matches and the card is going to live up to the fans' expectation.
I hope so because I mean I don't think it's a bad card. I don't. There's some matches that you can maybe question or whatever, but I don't think I think there's some matches there that aren't bad.
We'll see. We'll see for All Elite Wrestling because they've got to set up for their upcoming pay-per-views. They've got the Dynasty, all in, all out.
Double or Nothing. In Queens.
The porno one, the Forbidden Door. I don't know how much Forbidden is it anymore, but I don't know what other pay-per-views they have coming up in the short term for AEW to set up there. We'll see how that goes for them. And going forward here, we're going to switch a little gears. I just wanted to say a quick note of Dynamite. Tony Khan did sign the right Mexicana from CMLL. I will take Persephone 25 times over Stephanie. I don't care. I'm going to say this. Yeah, give me Persephone, bro. Dame esa chica any day. I could watch her match more than, and that's just my opinion. Because when Persephone could talk, regardless if you don't like her promo at the moment, but she commands both language so crispy, so clear.
Very good. Very good. And that, you know what? I give that alone makes me want to be a little more invested in Persephone. I'll be honest.
Exactly. That's why I say
that
Stephanie,
alone.
I don't care.
If she can say whatever she wants, and I will understand what she's saying.
No, ni that. Yo hablo lenguaje igual. So just in case, you don't know Spanish. Yo lo hablo y lo entiendo y lo
right,
igual.
Yeah.
But I am not invested in Stephanie Big Care. I'm sorry. I'm Stephanie. I don't care. Everything was too easy, too smooth. I want to see Persephone. And I'm not an AEW fan, and I just want more.
I just think it's not even. it's a little bit about the language, but I don't even think it's my main reason is like Stephanie seems boring. And what I mean by that, it's like, I'm la primera, yo soy la primera. And then whatever. And she talks like, and then she's fucking phenomenal wrestler. She's a phenomenal wrestler. But like Persephone, like again, the only reason why I said what I said on Wednesday night is because I've seen her promos in CMLL. And I'm like, whoa, like I would not want to, as a guy, I wouldn't even want to mess with this girl. That's the only reason I said it, because I, in the future, cannot wait to see that Persephone. That's the only reason I said what I said, is because I thought she was, from what I've seen, but I guess this is her way to introduce. So I'll be fair with it. And I said that on Wednesday. I'll be fair with it. I think it's her way to introduce to the AEW. I mean, she's on a dual contract, so she does CMLL and AEW. So I just hope it's not one of those things where like she goes to CMLL and then she's this big time badass heel, and then she comes to AEW. She's like, "Hi, I'm very happy to be here." No, that's the one thing I don't want to see from her.
And that's not her fault. That's on Tony Khan for putting her against
agree,
Willow Nightingale. Should have not had her against Willow Nightingale. You should have had her, with Julia Hart, because Julia Hart was she's a former TBS champion. She's a former champion, and she's a heel who's supposed to generate heat if you're keeping Persephone as a babyface or introducing her as the CMLL Women's Champion, high regard. So you go in there and you have her have a tough match to get her over, or a program with Tony Storm. Maybe that's something after Marina Shafir, Tony Storm and Persephone, where it doesn't hurt Tony Storm to put Persephone over if she's the dual contract that you want her, the wrestling community and the sickos to gravitate to Persephone.
She could show up, and Tony Storm could show up on CMLL as well.
Exactly. And you want to,
No, my bad. The only thing I was going to say was I just wish that AEW would tell us easier ways how we could check out CMLL. That's the one thing I give WWE credit for with AAA, is that they make it very easy. I know they're not. I know it's obviously very, very different, but there's still a partnership there. Even with like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the one thing I wish AEW, like, you guys can go check out CMLL, or like this happened on CMLL. Like, they don't do that as much. Even when they bring in guys like Mystico and Mascara Dorada, they don't do that as much.
You know why? Because Tony Khan is a wolf dressed up in the sheep clothing. It's plain and simple. He did it with New Japan. When did they ever tell you how to watch New Japan Pro Wrestling?
Only the Forbidden Door.
That's it. Or other shows. At least TNA.
Only when their talent are on it.
WWE at least told you to go watch it at AMC.
Yeah. No, that, like I said, that's the one thing I give them their credit. The TNA WWE partnership credit. The AEW doesn't do that, and they did it in the beginning with maybe their big guys going over there for like the G Max or whatever, or the G1. But yeah, we'll see. Revolution tomorrow night. Not gonna do the post show after. It will most likely be Monday in the afternoon, 3:00. That way, if Kev's available, he wants to hop on and join, we can have a conversation. So yeah, that's most likely when the review's happening. Monday at 3:00.
All right, we're gonna shift gear to WWE because we're gonna start off with NXT, then more on SmackDown, and then we'll be bringing you the home show. But first, we're gonna listen to one of our sponsors, Blackout Coffee.
Sports Jedi Nation, you already know how I move. I don't start my day without two things: standing firm in what I believe in a cup of coffee that actually represents those values. That's why I rock with Blackout Coffee. It's a 100% American company, unapologetic, patriotic, pro-Second Amendment, and anti-woke nonsense, no corporate posturing, no virtual signing, just real coffee for people who still believe in God, family, and freedoms. Every bag is a roast right here in my beautiful state of Florida, and it's shipped straight to your door. Fresh, bold, no compromises. If you need to hit the ground running, the Morning Reaper I suggest, a medium roast that goes smooth, powerful, and kicks like a mule. Support a company that actually gives a damn about this country. Go to Blackout Coffee Rumba. Use my promo code Rumba for 20% off, or Sports Jedi 20 of your first order. Blackout Coffee. Wake up, stand up, never back down. Fuel your freedom. Real coffee with real values. A bold, backed by freedom. Wake up and think free. and may the sports be with you.
Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and support. Yes, you mentioned earlier about the pay-per-view tonight, Universal. It's on Sunday. The pay-per-view is for All Elite Wrestling is Sunday night. Tonight is Rey de Reyes. Tonight's a big one. Dominic Mysterio taking on Hijo de Vikingo. The stipulation: Dominic cannot wrestle no more in AAA Mexico. Cannot be in Mexico if he loses. I believe Vikingo cannot challenge Dominic Mysterio anymore for the world title while he's champion. So they made sure they were clear about that. They didn't do a Hangman and say ever again. But for Dominic not going to AAA Mexico, could we see Finn Balor make cost Dominic and never going back to? They need Dominic in AAA. I'm gonna be honest with you.
There's no way they're gonna get rid of Dominic in AAA. No, just from what I've seen, I haven't watched AAA consistently at all. But from what I've seen, I mean, him being raised, like, come on, you can't take that guy away from AAA. And I think Finn appearing on AAA would help their WrestleMania storyline. So, and just from what I know, again, I don't watch as much. I know you and your wife have a fun time watching AAA, so you guys know more than I do about it. But I still don't feel like that Mexican crowd likes El Hijo. Am I wrong? Do they still boo him every time he comes out?
He is disliked.
So, I mean, that could be good and bad, right? So, I just don't know. We talk about safe booking, and they are WWE affiliated now, ran by The Undertaker. So are they going to go safe here and keep Dominic? I think so. And I think it sets up. But my thing is this. Now, who else could challenge? If it's not El Hijo and Dominic in like the main event scene, who else could kind of challenge the champions that are down there in AAA? Like Mr. Iguana, Psycho Clown, El Hijo the Wagner, whatever they are, his name is.
Number one contenders.
Obviously El Grande.
You have El Grande Mexicano, the Kaiser version. The Ludwig, the Kaiser version, and the Chad Gable. Looks like they're going to lead into a match that they're going to be in part of a fatal four-way for the number one contenders. There's a number one contender, so they're going to get locked in, both Americanos, in the match. When it comes to AAA Mexico, where Hijo de Vikingo, he's part of the Ojo. That's a group. That's like a fashion with Dorian Duran and the Omas is been like a bodyguard. Hasn't done much physical, just stands there like a big tree. But Undertaker's a big fan of Omas. He likes him. He likes the way he moves and works. What makes sense if Dominic's sticking around, because Dominic, and I don't know how taxing is the travel going in for either Monterrey, Puebla, or different, Juarez or Jalisco, different part of Mexico, traveling and going back to the United States. Of course, that's probably mostly private jets anyway, I think, because they're not going to go through too much customs or the TSA with all this stuff going on. I don't know how much taxing the travel is if he wants to continue.
It can't be that bad, because if he's in Cali, California,
Dominic lives in Central Florida, by the way.
Oh, never mind. No, what I'm going to say is irrelevant then.
They're from there, yes. But they're currently living in Central Florida. Just a little bit peeking behind the curtain.
Okay, so never mind then. Never mind. Because I'm like, if you're in Cali, I wasn't going to say San Diego specific, but in Cali, you're near the border. Okay, never mind. That makes no sense now. So yeah, it probably is. You're probably right.
Yeah, so they're going to be there. It's a travel because they all got to come. So, but they probably have a charter flight, because you see them go there with the referees. The referees are from NXTs. The booker, So I don't think if Dominic doesn't want to do it, we don't know. But Finn Balor should come out there and cause an issue or a distraction. But I wouldn't mind seeing for WrestleMania the Mega Campeonato at WrestleMania. I would, where Vikingo doesn't win and we get Dominic versus Finn for that title. Why not? I'm let's book it. I'd rather see that, because that's also helps AAA Mexico and the Undertaker's brand, seeing it at a WrestleMania for that title.
I agree. I can't believe we really Really, you're saying Undertaker's brand? Wow.
It is.
Man. It is. It's just surreal. It's just crazy to think about that.
When the show ends, he's one of the executive producer, Mark Calloway.
I
comes out. It's like, oh,
what time's the show tonight?
Tonight, I'll tell you. I believe it's at 10.
Is it
10
like
Eastern,
10?
10 o'clock tonight, 10 Eastern time. So that's a little late. I was going to do an instant reaction, so I might do that tomorrow morning for Rey de Reyes. We have an open challenge. Yes. She asked me already. She said, "Are we doing it to watch it tonight?" I'm like, honey, we are.
So, real quick before we move on, this is like a pay-per-view, right? It's not like this is a special. It's like a pay-per-view.
It's Rey de Reyes. It's like King of the Ring. Rey de Reyes, but instead of winning a crowd, you win a sword. That gives you the number one contendership and challenge the world champion. Yeah, it's a concept that's been going on for AAA. La Porca is going to be in the triple threat for number one contenders, and he has won the Rey de Reyes Espada.
Okay, cool.
We have an open challenge for the Reinas de las Reinas. That's the women's title. It's good. Your current champion is open challenge to anyone there. For Flammer, who's going to answer that? People are saying, I think Bayley. Wouldn't mind seeing Bayley. It's an annual event that happens in AAA, like Triple Mania and all that stuff.
Is this for the women?
It's for the women's world title. We have seen Natalia wrestle before. I don't personally, with all respect and all love, and it's not hating, I don't want to see Natalia challenge this open challenge. I wouldn't want to see that. I've got two names that I would like to see. I would like to see Bayley answer that open challenge, or Roxanne Perez if she's healthy. I know some people might say Raquel Rodriguez, but I kind of want something a little bit like, oh, okay, I want to see, Raquel will be fitting because they will go crazy in AAA tonight if they see Raquel, because she is Latina, and like, wow, that will go. Roxanne Perez, although she doesn't really cut Spanish, I don't think she speaks Spanish fluently for Raquel Rodriguez, for Roxanne Perez, but Raquel does. So I would be interesting to see how that goes for that. Again, I was talking about the number one contenders. You're gonna have for the Rey de Reyes, Santo Escobar has resurfaced. Santo Escobar is going to be across from La Porca and the two Americanos. It's a fatal four-way for that sword, for the Rey de Reyes sword. Let me see other matches that are part of this card that I'm looking right now. Of course,
sounds good.
It's going to be really good. Now, I wanted to talk about something that kind of caught my eye was the firing of Niño Hamburguesa. That's the kid, the pludgy wrestler who could go. Worlds collide. Excuse me. I'm going to say this. They find it, to me, I think AAA, when it comes under the WWE, they're looking for a reason to say we can't do business with you, because that's something. I understand they're in a big brand; they have to conduct a different way, but he didn't really warrant. I've seen worse things with fans and wrestlers interaction. And the guy didn't need to get released.
Is that what you sent me on the DMs the other
day? Yes.
Oh, okay.
That was neat, and he got fired for that. And then you can see that he was being part of the show. He was trying to incorporate the wrestler, the fan, give him a fan experience. They do things a little different in Mexico. It's very different.
You know what? That fan probably had no problem with it too.
They were laughing. He wanted more. I know.
Yeah. No, they don't understand that. They don't understand.
That was a nitpick. No, that was a reason to get rid of because of the appearance of Niño Hamburguesa.
No, I agree, because when I saw that, I'm like, my first thing was, this isn't American wrestling, people.
Right.
Like, they do way different, and yeah, I agree. Because again, that he didn't do anything to like put that fan in the hospital, bro.
No, like he wasn't laying in on them with those
right. Shots. No, he was just like, I think he was in the moment fucking with the fan and
exactly
whatever. Like, I think he knew, like, I'm not going to go too far with it, but I'll play with him a little bit.
Right.
Like, yeah. No, I would. If I was in Mexico, I would have no problem. I'd even go on social. Yo, I enjoyed every second of that. Like, his firing was unnecessary. Like, I had fun. Like, as long as you didn't kick my ass for real, I would have a fun time.
But they're slowly, surely removing some of these. And listen, they need these luchadores, and they don't start. They claim that they weren't going to change AAA Mexico. They're going to keep it the same. They're not going to. They're slowly doing it. They slowly got rid of two of the from the Psycho family clown. They got rid of two of the clowns slowly but surely. Storyline ran them off. They kind of ran off a little bit. Vikingo Jr. don't get rid of some of these talents because you need an undercard. Because you're not going to rely on always sending WWE talent to these small or these arenas in Mexico. Because, they're not, because of the travel schedule, customs. If you keep a lot of your Mexican wrestlers that are currently there in AAA, just take care of them. Let them wrestle. Have some guidelines. But if they're going to start slowly exiting and plummeting them out of, plucking them out and pruning them out of the system of AAA, what are we doing then? Then, you know what? Don't waste our time. Close AAA up and make it an NXT AAA where you're going to bring just young kids and they did that with Pimpy. They ran Pimpy out for an angle. They kicked her ass for being a reporter. I hope they bring her back. I hope they don't get rid of her. It might not be your cup of coffee, but they entertained esa gente de Juárez, de Ciudad de Juárez, de Puebla. They want to see their people. They don't, I understand they want to see W superstars. Yeah, I get it. But don't make it totally take over with WWE because it's not, it's going to work in the moment, but it's going to wear off. It's going to wear off because they have to pay these talent. And then guess what? La gente Mexico no va a pagar. They're not going to pay a lot of the WWE astronomical prices for a show in these towns. So you need those wrestlers. You need them to stay there. You need that there, Chris. I hope they don't do nothing crazy when it comes to that. But Rey de Reyes AAA card tonight. Saturday night is going to be good. 10 o'clock Eastern time. So you might have to have an energy drink or blackout coffee. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Rumba. Put Rumba in your checkout, 20% off, or use my promo code SportsJedi20 and save. Or if you don't want coffee, it's later. You want that kick, that extra oof. Go to G Fuel Energy, gfuelenergy.com. On your checkout, put PGH Chris 20, get 20% off on any of the G Fuel products.
For the next couple of weeks, it's actually 30% off for the next couple of weeks. So there you go.
Look at that. Look at that. He said, I'm going to raise it.
They raised it. I got the alert. On my dashboard. So it's actually 30% off for another week.
Look at that.
So there we go.
30%. Let's go. 2 out of the 3. And it goes, it will be in 3 weeks. Do they have Dominic match in 1 week? I think they'll prolong the number one, the Grande Americano and Dominic. I think we should get that AAA match at WrestleMania personally, but who knows what we get there. Let's talk about some NXT because we got a lot of SmackDown and Raw to talk about. NXT was a pretty decent show. We finally saw Charlie Dempsey join the Birthright. We saw Finn Finley and Regal come out where Trayvon Heights got turned on. It was something that we could have seen predetermined or predicted, but it was a good prediction because it was something that needed to be done. Easy Dane and Tatum Paxley, they look like they're going next week in Houston for a cage match. Interesting to see those two ladies in a cage match there. It's going to be Booker T's Appreciation Tuesday night in Houston, Texas. So that's going to be a fun one for the NXT brand on the road. Joe Henry, Miles Bourne took on Ricky Saints and Ethan Page. It kind of seems like Ethan Page and Ricky Saints might not be on the same page, Chris.
Yeah, I agree. That tag team match, they did win that tag team match. It was a big finish, but I do think they both want Joe Hendry's World Championship at this point because I think Ethan Page does not need to go for Miles Bourne. He does not need to go for Miles Bourne. He needs to go for Joe Hendry. Now, if there really is any chance that he's going to get called up, whatever, but I still think he should be in a big match at Stand and Delivered. And maybe it's against Ricky Saints. Maybe who knows with something with Ricky Saints, but I don't think Joe Hendry's going to lose that championship before Stand and Delivered. I don't think he's going to lose that championship at Stand and Delivered. Joe Hendry, I could see him being the NXT championship until he gets called up. So I could literally another Oba situation I could see happening with Joe Hendry. So I don't know where this will lead to during the Stand and Delivered, but I do think them winning is good because it's a big win for both of them, and maybe that sets them up for another championship match down the road because I don't think they have one. I think next week's just really women dominant for the title matches.
I was going to say this one thing about their promo on NXT. You can catch my NXT review if you want the full breakdown.
It was good.
where the promo where Ricky Saints and Ethan in the back before the match was talking about, well, if you get the pin on Joe Henry, well, whoever got the pin was going to ask for a world title match. And I was like, how is that going to sit with each other? Like, if you guys are so all ego, both of them, they're heels with a big monster of ego, you're really going to allow each other to pin, especially that time where you see at the end of the match where the blind tag from Ego Page and Ricky Saints was like, "Why did you tag me? I'm about to become number one contenders." And that's when Miles Bourne got the drop kick, and that's when Ego hit the twist and grin on the chair and got the pin. Where I think coming up, they both want to be a shot at Joe Henry's title. I could see a triple threat for at Stand and Deliver, where it could be all Ego's final match, where you don't have to send them off with a pin. Oh, but he's part of the match. Or even if he loses, but he's part of the triple threat, you're not really going to remember him. He's often races to the main roster for all Ego Page or even Ricky Saints, whichever one you want to use, vice versa, to call up, or that you're not going to remember. You're going to remember that Joe Henry retained and who really pinned. It was in the triple threat match. So I think that's where they're heading when it comes to Stand and Deliver, because then you could have Ricky and Ego go at it, and fight and wrestle, because they're both common. Taking on Joe Henry for his NXT World Title. Let's see how that goes there. One thing that I wanted to say, Rank Sinclair and Thea Hale, for those 3 minutes, put on a hell of a match. I thought that was their match of the night. For 3 minutes was fun. I thought Thea Hale, Ren Sinclair was super fun. Super. I wanted to give those ladies their shout out, their flowers. So Rook and Laney Reed was a good match, but then I said it was a little bit 5 minutes too long for me. Just a little too long, but it made Laney Reed look strong in defeat from Soruka. One match that bothered me was the double pin on Jasper Troy. I understand the what's his game? Keanu Carver came out and took care of Jasper Troy, but Jasper Troy got back in, got hit by Shawn Legacy and Eli Knight, for the dual pin. But now they want to be tag teams. And I went on a tantrum, pissed off because they announced this number one contender tournament shift for the tag team champion opportunities against the Vanity Project, and they took out Dark State and they took out OTM because they couldn't contain themselves in the locker room or at the announcement and beat up each other. Stone decides to take them out. Why are we skip and leapfrogging? And we saw that on SmackDown with Priest and R-Truth. You're making up tag teams. Because now Legacy and Eli Knight, we could flippy flop. Let's team up because you're not taking care of your true natural tag teams. And I have a problem with that, Chris.
Yeah, I think you talked about this the last week or something with because I like, we talk about tag teams that should be there. We don't, especially OTM. I've talked about them. I wasn't too familiar with them since they really coming up, and you kind of told me a little bit more of who these guys are, but they should definitely be tag team champions, or at least close to. Vanity Project, again, I understand them because I do think they could be your douchey little frat boy heels that could resonate. Like, I don't mind it, but I do agree. It kind of does feel like now, like you said, Eli Knight and Shawn Legacy, these two guys should be building themselves up individually. I get if you want to have a tag team match with these guys, but these guys aren't, at that level to where they tag team, two big names tag team together and people are interested in it. Like, but I don't know. I understand the double pin just because of how big of a dude Jasper Troy is.
I don't know. I didn't feel connected. I thought SmackDown NXT was fair show. It was fair. It wasn't terrible. It was fair. And I was feeling well either than I did that show on a little bit on the web, but it was fair show. Let's get right into the WWE talk, man. Let's start off with Monday Night Raw, where a lot of different things. Judgment Day violently removes Finn Balor from the team. I want to go with that there because people they want it. This is why. Let's get rid of Judgment Day. Let's get rid of Judgment Day. Judgment Day has elevated so many different guys' careers, of men and women who could have been just floundering and probably released from the company. Opportunity, but then they get into Judgment Day, and other than Carlito, has been really a failure or disappointment that really didn't get really too over. And Carlito was over. I think what Carlito's doing was that comment about the Kabuki Warriors that did him in.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That group, I was literally going to say that group has elevated everybody except Carlito. That's been in it.
And that's why they're important still.
Very.
Do they add more members, a different member? I don't know. It's up to the interpretation. That whole segment was good with Balor teasing to be a baby face. With the Pele kick was a callback to the Black and Gold days when he turned and joined the Undisputed Era, Undisputed Kingdom. But what was it? What are they called? With Adam Cole, those guys when he turned on Gargano, that callback on all that stuff. But he did it reverse to be good, to be a babyface. I was very interested to see with Liv Morgan, because here's the thing though, the Judgment Day story hasn't been really crisp and clean because there's still plots. Because I still remember when Finn Balor was in the car with Liv Morgan, and remember when they both came out of the car.
Did they really catch up on that?
Never did. Finn Balor was the one that took the hotel key room.
Yep.
Remember the key? Yep. When Liv wanted the court and he hit the key, we knew he took the key room. But then I saw Liv Morgan beat up on her and take JD and even the one that shocked me was JD McDonough, his best friend. And that
is what surprised
me. That's what made the segment.
Yes. And that's gonna make a lot of things, even for the next couple of weeks. Like we're gonna see JD probably in Finn early.
Yes.
I like that. Surprised me, but I like it. I think it's different. Well, not different, and because it's like it's different in the terms of Finn's not an OG member. I want to get that out of the way real quick. But all of the first 3 recruits are now gone. So
yes.
And you see how Dominic, if you remember really the way he joined, it's kind of like, wow, this guy's the leader now, probably of this group. So I liked it. My thing is, as much as I like Penta winning the Intercontinental Championship, man, this match with that title, huh? In my opinion, would be good, but it's still going to be good just because of this Judgment Day story alone. They don't even
for the Intercontinental title, but you still have the Mega Campeonato. And I know you go, but here's the thing.
I'm going because not because of me are
wrestling fans.
No. I don't give a shit about the wrestling fans. Would the company want that match to be defended on a WrestleMania? You know what I mean? Because people there. Look, I'm not saying one specific person, or everybody, but there could be one person that's like, well, when we see Unreal, that one person, well, do we really want to defend a triple weight title on WrestleMania? There could be that one asshole backstage, the creative, that could have that mindset. That's the only thing I'm going for. I wouldn't care because again, Finn going to triple A I think his wife does some stuff down there or something.
Exactly.
I don't care. I'm thinking about that one asshole and creative. Do we think? And look, I don't watch it, but I think it's people do, and I wouldn't mind it being defended. But I could see that one asshole. Are we going to defend a Triple H championship on a WrestleMania? I don't know if that's the Unreal in me. It probably is, but I could see
it probably is. But is that one? But if Mark Calloway standing across from him. That one guy gonna say? Is that one asshole that's really gonna say that when Mark Calloway standing there?
Fair. That's fair.
If he may say that when Mark Calloway's not in the room or thinking he's in the Zoom meeting, Right. But if they're all in the room in HQ in Stanford, that one asshole ain't gonna say that with Mark Calloway sitting across from him. So, and also his wife is the Kathy Kelly. Jackie Redmond of AAA, and I believe she's
exactly. Okay,
she's one of the and why not Finn Balor if he beats Dominic and win that AAA match? He's a championship for him. It might be a diminishing title for some of us, but it's a WWE product. It's a WWE company. It's not like they're changing a TNA title. They're willing.
So much history.
It has so much history, of course, and now I think it might work. I could see that go that route. There's also that judgment. There's also that's just another extra layer to the storyline. If they add the Mega Campeonato Championship upon it there for Dominic, and who knows? They had no problem sending. They didn't have no problem doing it at the Rumble, sending La Porca, sending Mr. Guana, sending AAA representation for the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia, of all places, where they had no cricket. They had cricket. So in La Vega, when there's a lot of Latinos and you're saying you're going to have that Mega Campeonato title at WrestleMania, it's going to draw interest. It's going to draw people who haven't purchased Netflix to watch in Mexico to probably watch that because their championship is being defended. I don't know. I'm just going outside the box trying to see how they could generate more revenue to the company. I don't know their numbers, their analytics of how many people in Mexico are buying Netflix for WWE product, but if they're for WrestleMania, because that's where they're going to watch it. They're not going to watch it in ESPN because they're in Mexico, or even the Mexican that live here. A lot of Mexican American that maybe are not, they're not tuned into the W or into. They could watch it on YouTube and they go wait there and they might want to purchase the WrestleMania on ESPN because their campeonato is being represented and defended on WrestleMania. I don't know. It's a marketing. You got to hit everyone because at the end of the day, the $100 bill doesn't have any race. It's not Hispanic. It's not Black. It's not Latino. It's not Arab. It's money. That's the one true ethnicity that makes the world move. So they're trying to chase the money. Veronica works for Telemundo Sports. Yeah, that's
yeah.
Thank you for that.
It. Yeah,
so we'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I like it.
What did you thought about Javon Evans and Kofi Kingston pitching Javon Evans to join the Judgment Day?
You know what? It reminded me of Kofi Kingston back. I kind of understand that now. Like I would understand if I feel the way I don't know how to explain it. When Kofi brought that up, I really thought to myself when I was 9-10 years old, I was watching Kofi Kingston probably the same way a lot of these kids are watching Javon Evans right now. They are very similar, but yet very obviously the times are different, right? But they're I can see where Kofi's you remind a little bit of me, and I was like, whoa, huh? I would like it. Obviously, it's not gonna happen. Javon's the big baby face building up, but I think they could do some cool things together. I liked it. It reminded me, it reminded me a little bit watching Kofi back in the day. Because damn, Kofi kind of, when he said that, I was like, he kind of does remind me of a young Kofi Kingston, when I remember him, when Kofi was younger. So yeah, I liked it.
I want to see where it goes because even if they give me a match with Javon Evans and Kofi at WrestleMania, I'm gonna be interested in it because they're both gonna put on a good match. If I wouldn't mind if they put that there. Well, for the WrestleMania card, although they got more fish to fry, more importance in the ladder of importance here, because we got someone that's being showcased, and we don't know if there's going to be a WrestleMania match. Chris has his thoughts on where this person is going to win and what he's going to do. It's Obafemi. He took on Rusev in a match where I believe was it 3 minutes. He got him in and hit him with the fall of grace. That literally is Rusev's wrestling career, falling off of grace. That's just Bill Obafemi right now. That's all I could see. I couldn't care less of Rusev.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that Obafemi had the match against Rusev because I've been saying he can stop going with the freaking Kit Wilsons of the world and all that stuff. But yeah, look, people might not like what I'm gonna say, but I think he's gonna win the Andre. I just don't. To me, this is how I don't know how to explain it. It's not that I have a problem with Obafemi competing at WrestleMania. It's what is this guy going to do? What has he done in the past couple of weeks since he's been in the main roster that you could say, hey, I want to see him fight this and this at WrestleMania? Because if you look at Trick, and I'm really talking about this because I had this argument with a buddy of mine from the UK. Trick Williams comes into the main roster, and what does he's thrown Randy Orton right away. Right away, he's throwing Randy Orton. He's put he is put into the Elimination Chamber scene. Already, this guy is going up with the Drew McIntyres and the Randy Ortons. But you had Obafemi fucking around with Kit Wilson. You had this guy not really appearing anywhere, kind of giving us the vignettes on TV. That's why I don't think he is getting a match. Why do people want to see him and Brock Lesnar? I am going to say that. I don't want to see Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. At all. At all. It's going to be Brock and Seth. Me and Kev have been talking about this for weeks. I have nothing against Oba. He is a future world champion. Hell, he's probably a future WrestleMania main eventer. Nothing against Oba. I'm talking specifically right now, 245, March 14th. Where do I see Obafemi right now? That's not competing at WrestleMania.
No, I don't. And it's not that we don't.
Why not have him win the Andre? Is what I'm saying.
He's going to win the Andre the Giant. You've been saying that. You've been on the spot with that. The moment I told you that I think Seth Rollins is Brock Lesnar is going to be Seth Rollins' opponent because it makes sense with the Heyman and all.
Makes perfect sense.
Plain and simple. They're not booking to your liking and your caterings. They have a mindset, especially with the report that come out that Heyman and Lesnar both said that they're not going to lose a match until he retires, which I think that's bullshit. I think that's a lie. I think they're just fabricating to stir shit up. Somebody in the IWC wrote that that knows someone or has copy and paste some important news out there. Like, look, don't believe everything from the copy and pasters because Tyra May Steele put on the best ruse and a lot of them bid on it, saying that she was released. It was a dream sequence. And then she emphasized it was a dream that she wrestled in an independent tournament, won some money, got elevated to Raw, and then got released. It was all a dream. She woke up. It was a dream sequence, and you had all the copy and pasters, like you know who you are, copy and pasters, and you got rused and got taken by Tyra May Steele. Oh, she's not. Let me copy and paste, and they didn't even read the tweet correctly. Make sure you have, that means you have no sources. It's just bullshit. So you got caught on a ruse, and there's a lot of them out there with the Paul Heyman story that Brock doesn't want to lose. Paul and Brock said they don't want to lose a match until his retirement. I'm having a hard time believing that. I know everybody wants to see Gunther and Brock. I don't know if that's going to happen because I think it's because storyline wise it's Seth. What are you going to do then with Seth? And who's going to avenge Heyman for getting
exactly
to a bloody nose?
Exactly. That's why I can't. I've agreed with you since day one when you brought that up. That's going to be the match. Yes.
Because I don't think my boy Braun Breaker's coming back yet. That's a hernia surgery, man. He didn't have hemorrhoids removed from his ass. His hernia, bro. That's hernia, man. That's some serious shit. You get hernia from lifting from it's nothing to sneeze about, man.
It probably wasn't as serious until he did that when he gave it the actual spot that he did, and then it became a fucking problem.
Yeah, he tore even more. It just became, it might have been, we're not doctors, we're not privy to the medicals, but I think that's what happened when it came. And I think, I would be shocked to think if it's him there. And then it's not going to be LA Knight versus Brock Lesnar. Then what you do with Seth? But then what you do with Seth? Who's going to defend Heyman? Well, you're going to bring Ryback back to defend Paul Heyman?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Unless if Heyman is bringing a new wrestler that we don't know out of left field, that we don't have no fucking clue into the company. I'm like, and I don't want to say it's him, but let's say a Parker Brodeur, because Heyman has been really glowing and glazing the guy in the past before. To take on Seth Rollins, is that really going to excite you so close to WrestleMania without not knowing who the hell this guy is?
I agree, dude. No, I wouldn't want to see that.
And what's the rush with Obafemi, especially to lose to Brock Lesnar?
Thank you.
Then Obafemi turns into nobody. Then it's like, oh, it's just he lost. The mystique is off. Like, you got to protect some of these guys. You got to protect them. You know, I know we're all excited. We want to see Obafemi. We want to see him. Trust me. Watching Isaac come in from his being announced to us as a prospect in NXT. I was there in the building when he had the property of NXT and being showed out and said, hey, these are the new signings to NXT. Welcome the class of that term for Obafemi. But when he and going by his real name as Isaac, you know, I was like, wow, who's this guy? He looks, and seen them all. And I am a fan because I watched him grow up in front of our eyes. Like the same thing I blush over when we see all these different wrestlers. But like you said, Chris, Obafemi hasn't had that big win. Rusev is the first one. Trick Williams just beat Jacob Fatu last night. He got a pin on Jacob Fatu. He's been in the deep waters with the Drew McIntyres, Cody, the number one contendership. He was one match away from fighting for the world title for Trick Williams. There's a big difference going forward between these two wrestlers. All in all, I'm going to talk about wrapping up Monday Night Raw, the main event scene. We've seen two different contrasts of storytelling, for night one, night two of WrestleMania, but it's still storytelling. Right now, the story, you kept the Usos now going into Punk's face, wanting an apology. And I love what Jimmy Uso says. I need an apology because you say you're the voice of the voiceless. My uncle doesn't have a voice. He's dead. Who is the voice for him? You need to apologize. You're taking jobs and rips on my dead uncle. I liked it, Chris. It was like, oh, damn, he's right.
I loved it. And but you know what I loved? I loved that Jimmy was the main one kind of speaking. I think we could have, if just was Jay, I don't think we could have taken as me personally. I couldn't have taken him as serious as I took in Jimmy. I loved it. I liked it. Look, this is exactly what needed to be done. Now, my couple questions, like, does this maybe lead to like a little bloodline reunion or something? Like, I'm not sure. It could be, but you know, they did that obviously because Roman isn't appearing till I think this Monday, right? Or next Monday.
No, this Monday they're all going to be in there.
Right, he'll be there. So we're gonna, we have a chance to hear a lot, and even if it's just them two, Roman could say something like, "All right, well, my cousins told you this, last week, whatever." But it was what needed to be done, because as much as there might be friends, this and that, this is their family. This is family, and this is what makes it even more realistic. I genuinely think there's animosity between Roman and Punk, and Punk's going to continue to being that disrespectful guy because he didn't really apologize. You saw, I apologize for, and he kept going and going and going. It wasn't that bad. I enjoyed obviously the segment last week a little bit better, but this does help advance the story in the family, obviously for Roman, him not being there, and it's more things to talk about in their promos leading up to WrestleMania. So I'm excited. I liked it. And we'll see what happens now that Roman Reigns will be here Monday night, not tomorrow.
And I know I'm going to say this. I'm in the minority. A lot of people don't want to see this. Oh, if WWE returns the Bloodline, they're have no ideas, creative, yada yada. The last time I saw their family, Jimmy, Jay, Roman, their family, where they're gonna say wrestling, one of the best storylines in wrestling is when you have some realism. How many times have we gotten a disagreement or a fallout with a cousin, a family that we haven't seen for a while, and then we rekindle, and then we get back as strong as a family? What binds us is the blood of the relative, that we're relatives, and we pick off and we get stronger. That's what I'm seeing with the Bloodline. People that don't want to see the Bloodline come back together, why? That means you got no family members that you don't rekindle or get back together and forgive and forget and restore. Wrestling, didn't you guys only always say the best wrestling storylines are when we blur the lines and we have a little bit of reality in it? I'm looking forward for the Bloodline returning together. They don't have to do word by word the same exact things like they did before. Give us something different, but they're family. At the end of the day, they're reuniting because they have a common thing. They're under the same blood. They have the same ancestors. They're relatives. They're family. Regardless, you don't choose who's your family. They make you're born into it. So that's why I want to see the bloodline and all that together with Punk and against Punk. Punk has no allies. It's gonna be interesting to see where Punk goes going forward. This is gonna be a fun one. It's something different from when we saw last on SmackDown. This Monday Night Raw is gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be interesting because you're gonna have Brock Lesnar in the building. I don't know if Heyman joins him. We'll have Brock Lesnar. You're going to have Roman Reigns in the building. You're going to have Seth Rollins. You're going to have possibly Stone Cold Steve Austin. But if he does, it's not that he's going to be part of a storyline. It's going to promote 316 and the video game. But it's good to see him, though. It's a star-studded event. You might even have a Danhausen putting a curse on Brock Lesnar. Who knows? Yeah, it'd be funny if that's the segment. He goes, it's some along the lines. I've been cursing you for a long time. You've been cursed. That's why you fell. I mean, when he slipped on his pants. Or, bro, split your pants.
Was hysterical.
It could be all different things they could do there with Brock. And then because they've got, what, 4 weeks for WrestleMania to show up, to have it. So now they start building it. For Heyman, confirmed he will be there with Brock. So Heyman's returning. Thank you, Universal. So we're getting Heyman return. This is where Brock Danhausen curses, and then we get some mask man issues. I don't know. It's going to be fun, but it's a different avenue for the WrestleMania for Raw side of their main event. Now let's talk about what we saw last night, and we're going to start off with the obvious: Randy Orton. Now, when they all started the chummy, likey, I did not see Randy turning that vicious, that violent, that quick.
Yeah. No, I didn't either. No, I didn't either. It was good. I liked it. I thought you were gonna.
No, I wanted to hear your thoughts on that. I mean, how excited, surprised.
Yeah, surprised that this happened like that yesterday. I'm not surprised that this happened because I eventually figured that they weren't going to turn Cody heel. As much as I would have loved, everybody knows why I don't like Cody now. It's because I want him as a heel. Whatever. I didn't think they were going to do this last night. I thought maybe they'd get like a face-to-face now that they know that they're actually fighting each other one-on-one and whatever. They will go from there. But this is the heel Randy Orton that I grew up on, and I love it. Mind you, there wasn't a RKO in that attack. Not a single one. And that's perfect because that makes you believe that he is vicious, believably vicious. I loved it. I do think if he would have did the RKO, bro, he would have gotten chance. Like a lot more. They actually just see him beating up Cody. It's like, whoa. Like, this is great. And very, very few people need like a story, like to build up a story for their match. They have that going back years, decades. So it's very easy already for us, the fans, knowing that what these guys have, been through in the past to get behind you. That, when they do the shots later on down the next couple of weeks and they're actually talking or whatever, it's going to be good stuff. But the way they started it, yes, I loved it. It's now a legit. I'm not saying we don't have any legit heels, but Randy is one of the best heels, and I liked it. They had to do something. They had to. You can't have, brother, it's all respect, this and that. No, we're seeing that. We're not seeing that on Raw. We don't want to see that on SmackDown. Good stuff.
Here's the thing: when you mentioned, and I wish I could show you we could. But then it's a lot of red tape. YouTube pick and chooses what gets, copyrighted or worn. So we just, we would love to hear you and do like a stop and start or, listen to the promo and some words from the horse's mouth. But we could do it at times, and sometimes they'll let you, and sometimes they're finicky. So long story short, when Cody Rhodes took him down memory lane and they sat there and I think Randy, remember, what's his moniker? you hear voices in his heads. And Cody referenced it. And I think the last time Randy was 15-time or 14-time world champion, or how he got to those 14 times, he had to channel that inner voice, that inner person. And I think that's what resonated and came out last night. Cody, by reminding him and taking him down memory lane, Randy had to go back to that place that made him 14-time world champion. And he reminded the wrestling universe, the WWE universe, that that's who he is. That's who he was, and that's how he achieved the accolades that he had. And he went and he just turned and become. He says he even mentioned the legend killer. You know, it is like, ooh. Then that's when he snapped. He woke something in him. Never poke a sleeping giant. And I think that's what Cody did last night. That's what I got and resonated out of the WWE from that promo. And like you said, no RKO. Everything was done with just vicious cerebral attack. From breaking the shirt, right? Maybe a callback of when Ric Flair got ripped is from Ricky Steamboat years ago. There was a little bit of callback, a little bit from the past, on all through the whole entire promo, the whole entire segment. I loved it. They didn't need fake media asking questions, press conferencing wise, no that. They did it in front of the crowd. They did it in front of all this. They brought people out, and then they even had a celebrity, They actually bought a real celebrity, unlike a fake one that's on the Busted Open After Dark Thursday nights. They actually had Jelly Roll. Even when Randy Orton, at a moment, he says, "Shit, I pushed." You could tell that he snapped. He looked like he blacked out, because when he pushed Jelly Roll and knocked him on his ass, he's like, "Oh, what did I do that to him?" And then he's like, "Oh well, fuck it. I'm gonna challenge my inner voices, my inner demon. I am a viper." Vipers don't, the famous words of JR, rattlesnakes don't make friendly pets. Snakes don't make pets. They're sooner or later, when they're hungry and they want to attack, they'll backstab you in a heartbeat. So yeah, I loved it. The great segment. I think Randy, personally, if you really were to ask Randy with a true serum, I don't think he wants to play heel. And I said it to Chris, that when that last shot of him at a elimination chamber with his daughter, he was so happy. He liked seeing the smiles on his family, his wife and his kids and the fans. I don't think he really wants to play the heel, but he's naturally gifted as a heel, Chris.
It's one of my 2009 Randy Orton is one of my favorite characters in pro wrestling. I'm Cena to the core. Only if you guys could see this area of my room, I have Cena posters everywhere. But I'm going to say this. Randy Orton is the best. I think he's one of the best heels ever. And let's not even talk about that 2009 time, right? Even his early run with Evolution, when he was a heel in his early days, when he was young Orton. I thought he was a good, heel back then, and people legitimately hated him. He wasn't respected. Somewhat because of who his dad was, but he had a lot of problems with people during that mid-2000s run, right before they went to the PG era. So, I mean, this guy's literally a natural badass heel in real life. Back then, not anymore, but we're talking about back then. So, yes, he's great. I love it. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm hoping now between these two, obviously we get more of this. I'm at the point now, since we got Jacob, and to kind of move out of that, right? Since we got Jacob and Drew face to face last night, I kind of now, I remember I said a little bit when I was here yesterday, I was like, during the watch, like, maybe Drew, but no, I think now keep this between these two and have Drew. Obviously, Drew's going to go film his movie. So if they want to do Jacob beating Drew, whatever, I think the most important thing, the winner of that match probably becomes the next contender at Backlash or something.
I can see that because, of course, the show started off with Drew McIntyre quitting, walking out of WWE. He was in the ring with Aldis and Jacob Fatu before Jacob challenged him for a match. He says, I'm done with this, and he sort of called fake quit at the moment for WWE, walking out with thinking, oh my goodness, Drew McIntyre is really quitting the WWE. No, he's just signed a long-term contract recently, re-upped. He wasn't going anywhere. It was just part of the show thread last night, without them saying literally getting into a match where you don't want the babyface challenging the heel. You want the heel making the demand for a match for the babyface. So that's what that was. Two things that still bothers me with SmackDown, and hopefully before in a couple weeks or two they clean up. I gotta know who attacked Jacob Fatu backstage.
Jey Uso.
And also,
yeah. Jey
and
Uso
also,
too. That's what I meant. That's what I
and
meant.
Jey, and also Jey Uso, and Jey Uso as well.
Yes.
Who took out Jey Uso to take that spot at the Elimination Chamber? Yes. Don't sweep that under the rug because we had no mention or nothing whatsoever from Jey Uso on Monday Night Raw either. You know, and nothing on SmackDown. I know Jey Uso was preoccupied for them disrespecting their uncle. Although when we saw that promo when we saw the Usos and they didn't even mention. I got to find out who took me out of the Elimination Chamber before Jackie Redmond asked about Punk's comment.
Yeah,
he didn't even mention it. He was happy go lucky. He was ready. He was looking to yeet for 15 minutes instead of finding out who took him out of the Elimination Chamber. So yeah, I got a little bit of an issue there. I need you guys to try to cross your T's and dot your I's when it comes to that storyline going forward. I want to see what's going on with that for Jacob and Drew. I say this again, and I'll say it another time. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I'm going to sound like it. I hope it's not Drew McIntyre that attacked and claimed or took the teeth out of Jacob Fatu back in December. Please, I hope not, because one thing that Drew McIntyre is a liar. But it opened the door last night by say he's quitting, and then he came back. And I think they're setting Drew McIntyre to look like a liar, Chris.
Yeah, I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not the case because I think Drew McIntyre, he'd be a good. I don't know if it would work. Like, I lied this whole time. Ha ha ha. But he's not the world champion anymore. So it's like I would understand that to keep your championship, right? I would understand that. One less guy out, but he's not the freaking champion anymore. So I agree.
I don't want him to be a liar, but it looks like he lied to us last night saying he quit, and then he comes back in a match where I was surprised that we got Trick Williams and Jacob Fatu. I'm like, man, they're really pushing Trick, but you're really gonna put him with Jacob Fatu here, and Trick is gonna get the pin on Jacob. And what's gonna happen? No, the same thing with Obafemi. We don't want to see Obafemi taking on Brock because you don't want to see Oba lose. Although we saw Trick Williams not come successful in that Fatal 4-Way, but still, it's like, ooh, man. But then I was pleasantly surprised. Drew McIntyre does not quit. It was October 17th, not December. There you go. Thank you for the fact check. Okay. It was sometime last year that we didn't see him for a while for Jacob. But then we get Trick Williams, and I'm like, ooh, I was a little worried, and Trick got the pin, although Drew McIntyre with the interference assisted by Drew, but that's a big notch on Trick Williams' feather. And not only that, did you hear the crowd going bananas for? And you're going up against one of the most popular wrestlers right now in Jacob Fatu, and Trick Williams held the crowd to just the same standard or not above.
That's why when I was arguing with my buddies, that's why I think Trick Williams is the guy right now coming up from NXT. Trick is great. I think he's great. Now, what does he do at WrestleMania?
I don't know, because they teased Sami Zayn, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment, but you got to put respect on Trick Williams' name. I want to see Trick Williams have a WrestleMania match, because talk about a calendar year for Trick Williams, and it's in a 12-month span. And I know when the commentator says it, Trick Williams had a chance to main event WrestleMania, which he wasn't, but let's say he was. Just imagine the history that man would have made. Slammiversary main event, Bound for Glory main event, Stand and Deliver main event, WrestleMania main event. Just think about the accolades Trick Williams would have been in main event in these big shows for Trick. Even being on the WrestleMania card, if he gets on, just with those PLEs and pay-per-views that we just mentioned, this is why Trick Williams is right now having a strong calendar year for him. I mentioned about Tatum Paxley having a strong career, NXT
having a
calendar
strong NXT run right now. Oh God, dude, I hope you're trolling right now.
Reports say that WWE might sign Jinder Mahal back.
I hope you are trolling.
Yeah.
I read that too. I'm like, I hope you're freaking trolling.
He's going to be open challenge for Brock Lesnar.
I do not need.
But let's get back.
I know you weren't watching the product at the time, I think, but holy shit, he was one of the worst world champions on SmackDown ever.
I'm not gonna lie, him winning the title was a pleasant surprise at the moment. I was like,
at something different. At the moment,
I said something different. I was like, yo, I kind of like it. I didn't expect it
until the weeks went by.
Oh my god, yeah. No, you're right. Yeah.
Holy shit.
I'm not gonna lie. I was excited at the moment when he won it. I was like, oh, something, because it was something different. I was like, you know what, man, Vince is actually expanding his horizon and allowing other people from other ethnicity winning the title. I was like, oh, you know. And then
And they stuck him in a fucking Punjabi steel cage match against Randy Orton. They're like, pal, we're still gonna gimmick you. That was fucking awful.
Oh my god, great Khali. That was
terrible.
Yeah. Here's where were we with Trick Williams and what does Trick Williams? This Sami Zayn. What are we doing? Is he going to? Because every time it ends with him slapping a couple of empty bottles, Puerto Rico just scored.
Home run!
There we go. As they got the game, we're gonna rewrap it soon because we're gonna do that watch along, but we're gonna watch it. My point is, what does he do with Sami Zayn? Is he going to turn heel? He keeps slapping the water bottles in frustration and stuff. That's why, you know, but then it's seeing Trick Williams and Sami Zayn. Do you want to see Trick Williams and Sami Zayn? I mean,
that's a good match for Trick. I don't think.
I don't want Sami to beat him.
I don't. That you took the words right out of my freaking mouth. That's exactly why I think I'm hesitating on wanting to actually see it.
And I'll be so pissed off at WrestleMania.
They're gonna build this guy up for Saudi next year, bro.
I know that's my problem. And the Trick Williams has so much momentum. He's hot. He's the hottest young wrestler up and coming until Sami Zayn extinguish it. Because you know why? This creative, I don't know what it is. That's Turkey Al Sheikh who's getting involved in the creative. Because Sami Zayn has taken Brock Lesnar's. Gunther's Intercontinental title. They team him up with Kevin Owens to take the Usos' long reigning title, and he's going to stop the old momentum of Trick Williams, and I hope not. Keep Sami Zayn the fuck away from Trick Williams. That's all I got to say.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think so either, bro. That bothers me. Here's another one. We saw something that's pissing me off and bothering me. When it comes to WWE creative. You have our guy, our friend, Robert Kessler, aka Karrion Kross, doing this fucking awesome gimmick and giving him whatever TV time about being this conscious devil in the ear of people, making AJ Styles thinking to turn heel or going to that next level. Shinsuke, Sami Zayn, he's getting over traction, selling merchandise, the puppet, the greatest gimmick with the strings, the puppet master. And you let him go. You release him. You don't re-sign him. You don't let him go. To give him the same gimmick to Aleister Black and Selena Vega. I mean, you know what? Whoever that person, I'm not talking about the performers. The person who gave that gimmick, go sit on a hot nail and go fuck yourselves. That's wrong. That's wrong, Chris.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of, yeah, I agree. And then with Karrion, it's like, when you look at Zelina and Alistair, like, it's just the same shit. Discussions I've reported.
Give me Karrion.
That comment right now.
No, they're good. You should keep me Karrion Kross on the television. You should have kept Karrion. Alistair, really, you're doing this.
Yeah, because you're doing the same thing. I literally, I told you this a while ago too.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Going like this is like this bitch is literally being Scarlet. And then with Alistair coming behind her, it literally is they're gimmicking that shit.
I don't like it. I'm so pissed off with, and I'm not. Again, it's not the talent. I'm not mad at Alistair, and I'm not mad at Thea Selena Vega. I'm not mad with neither one of them.
I'm not
mad
either.
I'm saying again, que se siente un clavo caliente, the asshole, the creative that came up with that fucking, who gave that gimmick to poor Alistair and Selena. That's who I'm pissed off with. Oh yeah, do this, do that, because you had the guy there that had traction. You had the perfect merchandise T-shirt with the strings behind Karrion Kross. That's the thing that pisses me off. I'm really disappointed. I'm really down with that. I'm actually angered with that, because that should have, Karrion was, damn, it's just they're leaving money on the table. But meanwhile, you're giving life and you're prolonging one of the most boringest fucking groups in all of SmackDown in the fucking Wyatt Six. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I can't get behind them. Yep, I want them put away in the shelf. You know that AI with the WWE warehouse that they have, they look like it's been sitting there for 20, 30 years. That's where the fucking Wyatt Six need to go. I'm sick of them. I'm done. I don't want to see it.
In a row are we gonna fucking bash the Wyatt Six, man? Just get them off TV.
Bro, they still keeping the fucking feud going with the Lantern. Like,
yeah,
they finally
it's all about, and Solo even said, bro, it's all about this. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
You're killing the and then people don't like the MFTs, but I have more promising in the MFTs, because if I'm gonna be honest with you, if I'm going into a dark alleyway and I gotta get a group of people with me, I'm taking the fucking Samoans with me. I'm taking Solo and a group with me to go walk down an aisle. I'm not taking Nikki Cross, no disrespect, Pepper Pig, Joe Gacy, and Sham Shaw. Shaw looks like a maniac, a loose, but I'd rather go with the freaking Samoans. Give me Tonga Loa, Tonga La, and Tonga blah blah blah. I'll go with all of them there, bro.
No question. No question. I wouldn't even think twice.
Oh my God. Could we please stop that feud? Could we stop that? Could we have the loser leaves the WWE match then? I mean, personally, I'll be honest with you. Could we get a blow off? I'll be invested. The loser leaves the company. All group. The group has to go away. If it's MFTs, you know what? But it's not hitting. It's not resonating me with no more. The Nikki Cross coming out and scaring you, it doesn't, at the end of the vignettes, does not resonate anymore at all. Never. It's not good. It's not.
I agree. I agree.
And people shit on poor Solo Sikoa. Go watch his NXT run as Street Champs.
No,
those guys are
fun.
bad. They're bad mother truckers, in the words of Bully Ray.
Yeah, no, I enjoy Solo. I think I've enjoyed his not new act, but he kind of went from that enforcer that didn't really talk much, and now he's kind of like speaking and actually being funny. But they're not helping him, and I think we know why. I think we know what was the match that hurt him.
Oh, of course. We've been saying that for a while now, back and forth. Also, here's something that doesn't fondle my mind, Chris. Could you please help me here? Please.
Let's see it.
It becomes the tag team division. You just made a nice and Gerby, they're very entertaining. Damian Priest and R-Truth, they're entertaining. I love it. But now you're teasing to break up this Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, I don't like that. They should have won the match last week. I know we talked about that. I'm not feeling it, man. I'm not feeling it. There were a couple things on the show I didn't feel last night. I'm not gonna shit on it, but there were a couple things on the show, like usual, I don't feel right. Look, Damian Priest and Truth getting a win against the Garzas. It's not a bad thing. It's just like you said, when you have the Motor City Machine Guns right there, they need to use them more, man. They need to use them more.
But don't wait. Next week they're taking on the Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin.
Yeah,
it's got a match against Axiom, so they're gonna have to. Okay, but what? So Shelley and Sabin could go at each other and wrestle and fight. And why? And this is what and can I had this theory, Chris, and I'll try to wrap this quick.
No, go, dude. This is a good conversation. Take your time.
WWE, when it comes to the tag teams, and I can understand why they don't want to do tag teams or they're not emphasized with tag team, because tag team wrestling, no matter what storyline you're telling, is always the same shit in the tag team wrestling. One guy works, or one the babyface works his ass off. One guy's going to wrestle all the match, leading to a hot tag. All the false finish. How many times and people like copy and pasting, and it's not and with different movesets. The referee is going to try to stop the babyface from getting the tag or not see it. He's going to tag him, but he didn't see it. No, and then he's going to push the babyface to the back, and the heels are going to start beating up on the babyface. I think this is why WWE and big companies don't really like to do tag team wrestling, because it always feels the same copy and paste with all from the reception of time when it comes to tag team wrestling. The comeback, and then everybody gets excited, and I think that's why I think higher ups or analytic wise thinks that it's kind of boring. That's why they don't push tag teams when we want to see tag team wrestling.
I love tag team wrestling,
but they all fall in the same things, no matter who it is. Whether if you're watching it's any tag team together, you always got that one guy that gets the hot tag and goes in like a house of fire. And I think that's what higher ups and bookers say. This is the same. And think of it, they're there every night, night in, night out, and they see that, they kind of see, this is boring. That's why tag team wrestling gets their stereotype of not really being book strong.
Yeah, and a lot of the tag teams can be rotated, repetitive too, like I just talked about with FTR and the Bucks on the AEW portion of things. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but don't you agree? Even the FTR Bucks match coming up.
Yeah.
Let's say Bucks are working as the babyface. You're going to see one of the Bucks. Nick Jackson is going to wait for Matt to tag him, waiting, and you're going to have FTR double teaming, beating the shit out of him, and oh my god, how much more could he withstand until he gets the top tag, and he's going to come in and super kick and another super kick, and then all of a sudden, the other one is going to eat a mushroom or sensu bean and come in and super kick. That's when every tag team wrestling.
I agree.
I think that's what bookers in 2026 say. We're evolved from that, and I don't think people want to see that. And I think that's why tag team wrestling doesn't get the emphasis that it is. And it's still fun, because I think as a fan, you still get hooked on that hot tag. You want to see that hot tag. You want to see jumping Jim Brunzell. You want to see Tito Santana come in here and do the. I'm using these tag teams from the past. For as a kid, I'm channeling my inner kid when I was watching Strike Force, the Killer Bees, the British Bulldog. Here we go, the hot tag and all that crazy shit. Yeah. That's what, and I think 2026, a lot of the bookers don't see it that way. They don't think that people want to see that anymore. Sometimes, and I think that's why tag teams don't get emphasized. I had that thought, and I said I have to talk about this on a live stream.
No, I agree. I agree. It does feel like a lot of the things repeatedly around. Especially,
and that's why they want to break tag teams quick, immediately. How much more? How much more are we gonna keep doing a hot tag? How much more? How much more are we gonna keep doing a hot tag and jumping? You guys going crazy. I mean, if done right, look at the Legion of Doom. They were hottest tag team of all time, and they were always for that hot tag. And Hawk, tagging in Animal. Demolition's going to the Hall of Fame. Axe and Smash. And that it just, there's room for it, but they don't. Here's the problem. You don't have to book the tag team matches 25 minutes long. You could tell, if you tell the proper story in 15 minutes, you could have a tag team division. That's strong. But they have to do click, because here's the problem. We got to put commercials, and you're going to miss the hot tags in the middle of the tag team. That's why tag team wrestling, because of the copy and pasting and the commercial placement, I don't think that's why it doesn't work in 2026.
Yep.
I think that's what it is there. And for me, I don't know what the machine guns get me worried breaking them up. Although we told this many times again, here's many times. Shelly, Sabin could work on their own, but their height, bro. That's the one thing. You got Gargano. I gotta keep it real. If I'm having a problem with Gargano's height, how am I going to really get invested also in Shelly and Sabin as singles? I gotta keep them together.
That's fair. That's fair. The thing is, I think they're both good wrestlers, but that is the one thing that
And
you got to look out for. I agree.
I want to answer a question that was asked to us on the chat about the profits. I would like to see, everybody wants to see Montez go on a single run. And yes, it might be good, but when we do with Dawkins, then that's the problem. And I think
I think we've been saying that for a long time too. Yeah.
But he asked us today, and we want to make sure, we love the chat. Yes,
that's a good thing to put out in the chat, because I think we've been saying this for a while too. Like, I think Montez would benefit so much going on a singles run. It's literally, what do you do with Dawkins? You don't want to release him because you want eventually to get them back. But I hear you, man. I agree. I agree. But I do want to see Montez as a singles.
And Chris, when Montez wrestled in the Elimination Chamber that time, when he did that spot off, bro, I was like, got to put that. And I think a lot of people eyes opened up. This guy needs to work on a singles run, because he looked like he belonged. He looked like he belonged in on a singles run in that mid card international, the Intercontinental United States. You telling me Montez fought 1-on-1 with Carmelo Hayes?
It would be very good.
Very good match. Even with Lilia, which that's not my cup of coffee with him, but still, And bro, speaking of that, I hate to change gears here, but yeah, I think Montez. But right now, we got to get them back into the fold. We got to get the Profits back. Maybe they make their return at WrestleMania and show on that. That's fine. If you don't like Montez as a singles run, I just would like to see it. At least he get an opportunity. My point is an opportunity for Montez to get that, because that's in the back of his mind. That's going to be on his back of mind. Can I do this on my own? A lot of the tag team, and we heard from many Hall of Fame tag team partners, would I have able to be strong on my own? You get that Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty question in the back of all these tag teams that have been together for a long time. Yeah, you've even heard it from the Great Warren. Mentioned it many times. If he could, we could survive with Robert Gibson, and he did, and he had a good career singles as well as tag team. My point is, they all have that thought in them. My point here, and the next thing that I wanted to talk about was what I was going to say. Oh, here we go. Did you agree with Jelly Roll? I know we were like, we don't need celebrity matches, and we talked about Jelly Roll's importance with WrestleMania celebrity. Danhausen, so in the back, Miz TV, Jelly Roll. What do you think we're going with this trick with Kit Wilson?
You're naming all people I give no fucks about. Like, I have no idea. Like, I don't even mean to be like that. You're naming people I just generally do not give a shit. Like, I have no idea. This, I don't see the hype in Kit Wilson.
They work. He was a good tag team with his partner and Pretty Deadly. I give them a lot of flowers, being there, watching them at NXT. The 2.0 days, seeing them wrestle, great matches with them against the New Day. They put on stage. Pretty Deadly was that tag team that psychology wise made sense, the way they were heels and how they won their tag team titles. Classic, loved it. Kate Wilson, there's a niche for it with an audience there. We'll see where that goes. I just hope we know we're getting a celebrity match, and we know Jelly Roll's going to be in it. That's just WrestleMania sells tickets. You're correct. That's something that needs people to sell tickets. Look, half of the IWC that we had to debunk wanted Bad Bunny. So if people wanted Bad Bunny, we got to also say, you know what, there's a niche for Jelly Roll as well.
Yeah.
We can't be hypocritical. Hypocritical. As much as we would have liked to see Bad Bunny in wrestling some kind, in trios with Damian Priest and R-Truth, which makes sense because there's a history there, than putting him there with Seth Rollins and LA Knight. But Jelly Roll, I think Jelly Roll is going to be put into this match. Is going to be somehow celebrity match with Miz or something along the lines with something there. Interesting to see where they go with that going forward for Jelly Roll. Hey, he had a nice appearance, and he was a force last night on SmackDown. He wasn't like he wasn't overbearing and cringy like the Costco guy. That's a Forbidden Door match. Jelly Roll versus the Costco guy.
Put me to sleep first.
No, they could sponsor it by Nathan's. The Nathan's mustard belt that they use at the hot dog contest. Yeah, they could wrestle for that title. Put that on fourth rope.
Oh my god.
Okay, here's one thing I want to talk about: the tag team, the women tag team division. Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair, taking on the tag team champions, Nia, Lash Legend. You had the Bella Twins, Chris. The Bella Twins, Chris, coming out. I fucking laughed when Nikki Bella got super kicked on the outside, bro.
Yeah, I wasn't very interested in that either.
Bro, they're going to do that fatal. They're going to do that.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. They know what they're doing with, or they already know what they're doing with these women's tag team championships. It's the same shit they do every year at WrestleMania, multi-women tag team match.
They need to put on a ladder. They need to call it back to TLC. Have the first women TLC match. I've been saying it now. Again, it sounds redundant. It sounds like a broken record. Chris has heard me saying this for weeks. Give me 5 women tag team. You know, if you got the Bellas, you got the tag team champions. You've got Alexa and Charlotte. That's how you can put them on. If you want to go Lyra and Bayley, if they're a tag team, and then of course the Kabuki Warriors. And, you know, you Roxanne and Liv. Roxanne and I'm not Liv. Roxanne and Raquel. If you want to go want to put them there or so forth. Some type 5 women go out there. You showcase 10 women for the ladder match, TLC women edition, and let them, and they'll knock it out of the park. If you want to, you know, because I was gonna say if they were gonna put a woman from NXT, but there is no women tag teams unless you want to bring Fallon Henley and JC Jane and surprise entry, but I don't think so. Unless you want the Elegance brand, I know Chris don't want to see that.
Really? No, I'm good.
Rinse
I'm
and
going to see
repeat
them on Wednesdays when I cover the show, and they're there. Ugh.
Cody should have been the one to turn heel. I like Randy Orton right now because it's about business.
Right now, I like Randy Orton. Yes.
Yeah, it's about money right now.
Trust me, no one wants Cody as a heel more than I do.
Yeah, he's been saying it for a while. He has been saying Cody is a heel. I think he's going to stay, but Cody is boring now. Cody needs a little bit of an edge. Maybe Cody gets sympathy with Randy Orton. Maybe that's what they're hoping for. This is their last resort to see if Cody gets sympathy because he's been short with Sami Zayn. He's showing you a little bit of an edge with Sami Zayn. So that might be in the back burner, guys. They're going to see first how this is going to work if he grabs a lot of sympathy with Randy Orton and if the fans gravitate and buy into him being sympathized by getting his ass kicked, bleeding, and you know what's up with everybody makes Cody Rhodes bleed. He's like the Moxley of WWE with the bleeding. Brock Lesnar, Rock last year, Cena now this year, Randy Orton. I mean, WWE's new sponsorship is going to be maxi pads in the middle of the ring.
Probably.
Yeah. And Stay Free's over for Moxley. So there's a lot of bleeding going on in WWE. Final thing here, Julia, Tiffany Stratton, Kiana James will look like Julia's taking on Tiffany Stratton. I just want to know if Chelsea Green stays healthy because that was a funny spot with her being wheeled out in the wheelchair and when they did the backstage promo, wheeled her off the screen. But then she came out. Julia, even being kicked by Kiana James, still managed to get a clothesline on Chelsea Green on the outside. That looks like. Let me ask this: as of right now, do you think the Women's United States title will be on the WrestleMania card?
No, I don't care if it is or not.
Fair. I kind of want to see if it is. I wouldn't mind seeing Julia, Tiffany Stratton, or Chelsea Green. Some kind of.
If Chelsea Green, I like to see Chelsea Green win that title again. But right now, I have no interest for the United States Championship on the women's side of things. But it could be. I think it should. I think you defend all your titles at WrestleMania, but they don't even really care about defending the men's. So
that's true. And then I don't know, because we look like and Dragunov and Carmelo. It's like now it's starting to get long in the tooth.
Yeah, you're not really getting anywhere with it. So
he doesn't feel like he's worthy to take on Carmelo Hayes. No,
exactly.
We don't want it's like come on. Put a pin already with that. You guys got good chemistry, but I don't even. That's going to be Friday Night SmackDown's main event.
Yes, I agree.
You're not WrestleMania worthy. As much as I would love to see Carmelo Hayes in the WrestleMania match, but that's Friday Night SmackDown main event to me personally. On there, Io Sky versus Asuka. Maybe that could be a match there with Kairi saying involved some way, somehow. Who knows? And Jade Cargill defeated Michin, where later on in that evening, we saw Jade Cargill speaking with B-Fab in the back. I always said this, B-Fab is going to turn. B-Fab, is going to be the one that's going to go heel, be part of, bring up the baddies and all that crap for Jade Cargill. The match was okay. I mean, you got the camera shots of Jade Cargill's rear end. That was the highlight of the match, Chris.
Yeah, I agree. Poor Michin. I think she's a cool person, but I'm not invested. I'm not invested. But it wasn't a bad match. Rhea comes out there obviously to help build up for their match. So it wasn't bad.
And of course, the Uncle Howdy and Eric Rowan defeat Solo Sikoa and Tolo Tonga. It was like in the disqualification. It was like whatever. It's just something that we wish it would be done already. I just wish it would be done. Other than that is everything there on the table there. Wanted to make a little bit honor mention. Candice Michelle becoming TNA producer. We saw that on the Henry on the wall. Yeah. Hopefully that's something that gets something elevating with women's division. We'll wait to see. Before we criticize it and say, well, let's give it a 3 months, 6 months, 9 months evaluation, the way Carlos Silva likes to speak and say with that going forward. We'll see where that goes going forward. Anything else in the wrestling world that got your eyes before we say goodbye?
No, not really much that's really coming out. I guess there's a thing that Nick Nemeth said yesterday on Coach, where I guess my last contract was to keep me from going to AEW. That was it. And whatever, I guess WWE offered him some money not to go to AEW, and that's what's popping right now. But nothing really that caught my eye. That's like, whoa, this week, I think everything kind of happened on the shows. I think there's no real news this week.
Ooh.
Oh, never mind. I guess it is being reported that WWE is gonna lift their Vegas watch party ban.
I mean, it got so much backlash, Chris.
It got lifted. Yeah, I guess that's the news. That's one thing I can break to you guys before we say goodbye here is you can have a watch party in Vegas now, according to Fightful.
And one other thing for Ring of Honor, which no one really watches, Persephone has defeated and picked up a win. Another Ring of Honor win. Persephone. Yeah. Oof. That's someone I could care about. I mean, that's that.
That was a good one.
Did you see the OVW thing? The referee that
yeah.
that got
Al Snow put a statement on. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, they have Al Snow back there. But I don't want to offend some of our people. So yeah, just you got to be careful at those shows, man.
I got to say one more thing. I was so honored, so thankful, so happy, so excited to see our own friend, Janai Kai, as one of the Order 4 agents coming out in the opening in the ramp for TNA Thursday Night Impact. I spotted her like this. I'm like, oh, wow. I hope that leads to a lot of big things in TNA for Janai Kai, the Kick Demon. Let's hope, because she is not just a good friend. She is so cool, salt of the earth, who really messes with us. Hey, Janai, do you have a couple 20 minutes for us? Yeah, what time? And she never says no. And she's a great young lady, hard worker, hustler. Check out her stuff at Janai Kai. She was part of Lodestone, former featherweight MLW champion. She has a resume about all resumes. She should be signed to a major company, just like Nikki Blackheart. Congratulations to Nikki Blackheart. But Janai Kai needs to be in that position. As fans, we need to voice and have a voice for her to get signed with either any major promotion, whether Ring of Honor, AEW, WWE, TNA, NXT, whatever it is, Janai Kai. It was great to see you on television. Great to see you, spot you there. I could spot a good friend. A friend. Awesome. Good job there. It was great. Loved it. good job. It was a brief moment, but it was still something. You're making dent. And congratulations to Alejandra Leona. She won a title over the weekend in a Battle Royal Rumble type of setting. Congratulations to her. And of course, don't forget, guys, hit our like, subscribe, follow us on our social media platforms. We are doing the watch along on Rumble and Kick, not on YouTube anymore much because it's not getting. There's so many, you guys. There's so many, and we just don't have we don't want. We feel like it's a double a lot of tasks to do these, so we're doing more recaps, reviews. We got great things coming up for the weekly wrestling show, and I'm in the works with it. Chris doesn't even know. I got a lot of things working on where we're gonna have you guys be a little more interactive. I can't wait to bring those news up. So we've got a lot of good stuff coming up. Leave a comment. Thank you, Universal, ZZ Chairman. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Appreciate everyone that's watching us. Everyone on the Rumble app. Sorry, I didn't read all your chats there. I know we have a few there. Thank you guys for the support, the love. We have a Discord. So if you guys here in the YouTube, follow us on our Discord, Sports Jedi Network. We keep the conversation going. We keep going. We always writing things and back and forth. Sometimes we might say things that we might not be able to say on YouTube. There's nothing negative, but just conversation-wise little nuggets of information that we don't want to splurge it out here on the YouTube world. Thank you, Marie Shadows. Don't forget our partners. I wanted to thank out Marie Shadows, Wrestle Sloop and Friendos, Jeff Lippman. Appreciate you guys there. Don't forget PUWF, Podcast of Unappreciative Wrestling Fans. Check their channel out. They have Evolve. They do the Evolve NXT time with D-Walk. Marie Shadows, the Square Circle podcast. Wanted to give her a shout out. Salute to you, to everyone there. Of course, Wrestling Soup and Friendos. Appreciate you. We are sponsored by Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes, stay fresh, stay clean, stay match ready. And all our friends, Hello Media, the Samuel Lyons TCP podcast. Wanted to give you guys a shout out. And with that said, man, we appreciate everyone here. This is the Sports Jedi Network. Let me get the proper outro so we get done correctly, and we're going to be out of here. Making sure, and let's go. Have a good weekend, fellas.
This is Sports Jedi Network, the fan-powered, creator-driven home for wrestling, combat sports, and major New York sports talk. Hosted by BX Sports Jedi Kevin, your rapid-fire, high-energy commentator, alongside a crew of passionate young men and ladies bringing the heat every single show. We cover it all: watch-alongs, live reactions, recaps, interviews, and debates from WWE, Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AEW, Dynamite, TNA, Thursday Night Impact Zone and specials, UFC Time with Austin, plus full coverage of New York sports talk. And yes, we tap into the galaxies of Star Wars plus the worlds of Marvel and DC. Breaking news, rumors, fantasy booking, hot take debates, plus major collaborations with PGH Chris TV Production, Wrestling Soup and Friendos, Garden of Thought, PUWF Podcast, Hello Media of the Samuel Lyon TCP Podcast Group. We're fast-paced, we're interactive, we're built for live chat energy and real fan community. Our mission? Real-time reactions, honest takes, humor, interviews, and energy every single show. This isn't just coverage, this is community, this is combat, this is culture. That's Sports Jedi Network. May the sports be with you.